Not again.
All right, hello everybody. Welcome to something that's going to be a little bit different this week. We're not actually playing D&D. So yeah, let's just I'll do my little introduction. Welcome to Talking with Awesome Tankards, episode 1 of TWAT. This is going to be this is going to be a D&D discussion about the Realm of Vynreth campaign, which is approaching its 12th session. This is going to be a bit of a chat between DM and players. It's about a homebrew campaign and the world in which it is set. We'll begin with a player introduction, and then I will do a full summary of the campaign so far. So I'll kick it off saying, my name is elFarqo, and I am the creator and DM for the campaign and the world setting that this adventure is based around. Joining me in the story are a few of my friends, some members of our shared communities, and others are streamers themselves. So I'm going to let everyone introduce themselves, starting with yourself, Nin, if you want to do a quick introduction.
Hi, my name is Ninderil, and I'm a variety streamer here on Twitch. I am playing Eros Vanster, who is a half-elf cleric.
Now, Potatoes is absent tonight, so in her place we just have pictures of Spuds. So just enjoy those, just just for sight. V.
Hi, my name's. It's funny because I want to say Virillion, but my name's Virali. I'm a variety streamer as well, and yeah, I play Virillion Firmastorm, which is a deep known wizard. So that's been fun to play.
All right, Mash.
My name's Mashu. I don't stream, and I'm a Firbolg druid.
Cool.
Yeah.
Name.
Oh wait, her name's.
Oh right, you didn't actually say her name.
I didn't say her name.
You ended so like that is it.
I forgot. Okay, my brain. Her name's Dayla.
Dayleth, great. Cool. Moving on, Name.
I am Cthulhu Allspark. I've played D&D with elFarqo and Virality a couple of times in the past, and now I get to keep doing it, so that's pretty cool. I play Name Tabid, a definitely not meme name, who is a dwarf cleric of the Tempest domain.
Alright, Leah.
Hi, I'm Leah Ace, and I'm an annoying Twitch viewer and subscriber. And I play Azaria Airwood, who is a half-elf ranger.
Great. And then obviously we have Potatoes, who is also a Twitch streamer, and she plays Kaya, who is a elven rogue, as the final member of the party. Now the reason we're doing this more like podcast style chat rather than an actual session is due to a multitude of things outside of stream and outside of our control that really restricted the prep time. So rather than rush it and have a potentially unsatisfying game, I thought we'll just have a look back at the last few months where we can talk about the adventure, any lingering questions, and some of the world building. If the chat has questions as well, we can do a little Q&A if it warrants it. So now we are all playing in a homebrew setting, as I said before, which is titled the Realm of Vynreth. This is a world that I'd been building for approximately 2 years, and am in the process of rebuilding in a wiki structure through World Anvil. But it turns out reformatting from my previous methods to one that actually works in World Anvil, it's turned out to be quite time consuming, so it's taken a bit longer than I initially thought it would. But when it is done, it will be a public page anyone can access. and read about the lore, the culture, the religions, landmarks, and so on. And then people can either read about the things that they hear in-game or even use the setting for their own adventures if they wanted to. Now, to kind of kick off how we're going to do this, I'm going to do a full summary of the campaign so far. So, let me tell the story so far of 6 adventurers lost in the center of the Bavarian Empire on the great continent of Trithorn. Might just change the music. So, in session 1, our heroes met upon the Stone Raven vessel, a commercial trading ship belonging to the Stone Beast traders and sailing under Captain Corgin. The characters had each taken a job as a temporary labourer for a small pay and transport between cities. The voyage was set to leave the docks of Zenian and travel south along the Recon River to Recon Thorn, stopping once at the harbour town of Jor. The Recon River is renowned for its grand width, almost considered a sea, with the distance between banks and the depth. The second night of the journey, the group became properly acquainted with one another over dinner before finally settling to sleep. Then, in the dead of the night, the ship was ambushed by a band of goblins with harpoons pulling it towards the land while approaching a drop of rapids. Before the rapids, a makeshift dam had been built between boulders sticking out of the river, and though it did not take up the entire width of the Recon, the harpoons pulled the ship into the dam, crashing, then capsizing, throwing our heroes into the rapids. They awoke in the next sunlight on the bank of the river, immediately searching for other survivors. They spotted the smoke of a campfire and discovered some of the remaining crew, but were told 3 others, including the captain, were still missing. Realizing they had a shortage of resources and money, the group tracked the trails of the goblins to a nearby cave system to rescue the remaining members as well as gather what resources they could. Before they entered though, something around Daleth the human seemed to strike gently against one of the party, but out of sight, seemingly causing alarm and ruining a potential stealth attack. And that was where we left session 1. Unfortunately, but somewhat unavoidably, the party took too long before entering the cave, where, despite slaying the horde of goblins, they were not able to save the crew members in time, nearly losing one of their own in the process. They were able to gather some food, noting that a lot of the crates and sacks that they had found in the cave belonged to another ship of the same trading company, the Stone Badger. The party did also discover something unusual in the cave. A small doorway made out of crimson-coloured roots that were moving as if sentient. The roots had fangs for thorns that could enlarge in a split second, appearing vampiric in nature. Attached to the door was the body of their late captain in a crucifixion-like pose. Testing the limits of the reach of the door, avoiding being grasped by it, but only just, the party decided it was too dangerous to approach and rested for the night instead. But not before, once again, something invisible struck gently against one of the party. That was where we left session 2. The next morning, however, the cave with the door was emptied, except a single note stating that they were being watched. The party tried to seal the door, then regrouped with the rest of the crew before travelling on foot to the town of Jor. During the travels, the group noted that a pack of jackals were in the area as they approached at night. But nothing eventuated as the pack fled. Another day of travel and the party made it to the town of Jor. I've lost my spot. Made it to the town of Jor, noting that the third of the stone creatures, the eel, was docked in the town. The safety of society felt short-lived as the party noticed that the townsfolk were collectively afraid of the dark, having lanterns blaring in the early sunset and quickly attempting to get indoors as soon as possible. Our heroes asked around and were able to determine that some of the people would go missing if they were left in the dark. whether or not they were in or outside. With darkness approaching, they settled into the Rusted Claw Inn, where they met Balasar Slovtana, who confirmed rumors of people going missing, but wasn't sure why. The party tried to relax and began to have drinks and food served by the Red Dragonborn, including a drinking contest with Colin the dwarf from the Stone Eel crew. Eros then noticed someone was standing outside watching them. In his drunken state, started confronting the mysterious figure, but getting no information as they walked away into the night. That was where we left Session 3. Once the party decided to rest for the night, they noted that some of the Stone Eel crew, including Colin, left the tavern to sleep on their ship. Shortly after, our heroes heard screams in the distance and ran to investigate. On the way, Colin had run past them, telling them to run before fleeing toward the church rather than the inn. Ignoring his advice, they continued only to learn that they had just seen a doppelganger, as the corpse of their dwarven friend was found by the dockhouse. Fleeing the scene was a pack of jackals, but emerging from the bodies of the crew and Colin were figures of shadow, appearing to be an undead manifestation of the bodies. The party fought their way out of this encounter, deciding to check the rest of the crew to find that they had all been killed without wounds. While on board, something around day hit another of the party gently, causing confusion in the group. She also noted a magical ring in the cargo of the ship and kept it for herself. Next, they decided to track the doppelganger, leading them to the House of Kreen, a holy building that, unlike the rest of town, was left in complete darkness. Daleth used her wild shape to transform into a rat and explored the church, only to find a crimson doorway once more. The mysterious figure from earlier in the night had heard commotion and spotted the party waiting for her, so they fled back to the inn, noting that he did not pursue. The next day, the party decided that they would go advise the captain of the Stone Eel what had happened to his crew, and the rest of the events were then discussed with Jen Silter, the town Seon, which is an equivalent to a mayor. She told them an extension to Jor, called Jorvin, about an hour away, had been affected by this mystery first, and that she would pay them to eradicate the threat. Accepting the job, the party grouped in the town court before suddenly being surrounded by a group of jackals, each transforming into a humanoid form, appearing either human or as a human-jackal hybrid. That was where we left Session 4. Session 5. With the aid of the suddenly emerging Balasar from a nearby store, the group killed the jackalware ambushes. Balasar claimed that no matter a creature's alignment, he believed all should have a path to the next life, and took the bodies to the House of Kreen. Our heroes assisted, finding the opportunity to question the mysterious figure known as Sullen, who was a priest titled the Word of Kreen. A mostly friendly interaction, they had realized that they had misjudged this man, and in fact he had kept the house in darkness deliberately to keep people away from the Crimson Root door that had formed before his time. Drawing the rest of their leads up, and still not knowing how to open the door, the group then went northeast towards Jorvin, the extension community. On the way, they were attacked by a group of blights from the forest, some without the vampiric nature of the roots, but matching the crimson colour of the doors that they had found. Defeating them, the group saw a watchtower that told them that they had arrived. That was the end of Session 5. Our heroes walked through the community and found it completely deserted, noting that the centre of town had its own Crimson Root doorway inside an abandoned building. This This time the doorway was dried and dead, losing its color to a more grayish brown. They were easily able to pass through. They decided to look around the surrounding area first, climbing up the stairs of the stone watchtower. Here, the invisible force around Day struck again. Azaria, being fed up, drew an arrow on her, demanding an explanation. No answer was given, but the group settled without violence. Not before Name, being disinterested, attempted to go ahead and look around himself, noting that nothing of interest with the natural one perception. So the party ventured back through the dead crimson door. The path went to an underground shrine of Quanbeck, the Terran embodiment of pain. In here, they fought against further shadow figures, and solved an arcane protection around another crimson root that seemed to hold corpses in its center. It is here that they discovered the real body of Jen Silta, the town Seon of Jor. Realizing that they had been deceived, an ambush of jackalwares entered the shrine. That was where we left Session 6. Our group, through tough combat, were able to fight their way out of the shrine. They then fled back to Jor, starting with the House of Kreen, noting that Sullen had been killed in a similar method to the crew of the Stone Eel. They went further into town, only to find that in their absence, something triggered an attack on the town, leaving multiple casualties, including Balassa's wife, Gredris. They noted the doppelganger of the Seon reportedly had left town. Before they could figure out what to do next, a legion of soldiers led by the regional Baron of Reconthorn, Baron Tarxon, entered the town demanding to know why he had lost contact with the town Seon. They began to investigate, assisting the injured and clearing the dead. Kaya assisted Azaria in attempting to flee after noticing her panic, but she was caught and brought back to the group for further questioning. Meanwhile, Name convinced Balassa that the group would assist in avenging his wife. They were then questioned by Tarxon, who believed their story having dealt with similar events in recent times, and requested that since they were all well informed on the matter, to continue their own investigation as mercenaries along with his soldiers. That was where we left Session 7. The next day, the group decided to check the House of Kreen once more, this time noticing that the door had been opened by a soldier who was found stretched in a crucified position in the center of the doorway. Joined by Balassa, they ventured once again downward until they found a horde of goblins that seemed to be guarding a back room. Once the enemies were killed, they also found 3 statues that appeared to hold more of the shadow figures, and then they destroyed all 3. The back room that they ventured into seemed to hold a teleportation circle surrounded by crimson roots, but this time they noticed that inside were jackalware, screaming in agony but healing as fast as they took damage. Looking around, Virillion found a journal seemingly belonging to someone in charge of these creatures, and learned that this was a process that seemed to be a trial to Quanbeck for further powers. They interrupted the process by culling the jackalwares, leaving the roots to starve, noticing that inside these rooms was the skeleton of a dead dragon. With one final lead, they retraced their steps north and found the goblin cave that they had left just days before. In here, the crimson door was now open, inside being another teleportation circle and a simple hideout that had been abandoned with a note saying "well played." The threat, or at least what the party knew of it, was neutralized. They decided then to continue their original journey to Reconthorn, after saying goodbye to their dragonborn friend, leaving him to mourn for his late wife. That was where we left Session 8. The party walked through the woods and after a day decided to camp by a guard tower. The tower was attacked through the night by orcs, giving the heroes the chance to try new abilities that they were beginning to discover.
The important thing is, I'm meeting new people.
Within themselves. Another day of travel went by when the party came across a random festivity of traveling gypsies. They learned this was a cult-like following that would travel from legendary locations with a beloved author who seemed to write fascinating novels about mysteries of Vynreth. They learned that this author was seeking to find the location of something called the Moonweaver Grove, an underground garden built by moon gods as a gift to the Queen Goddess Bavode. In here, allegedly the elven queen of the empire had been tricked by a mysterious figure to retrieve a beautiful silver rose, but she never returned. The author, elFarqo, had not returned from the cave either, and Hansi, the storyteller of the festival, requested the party retrieve him. They found the grove haunted by undead soldiers and wisps. Defeating the dangers, they located elFarqo and sent him back to the festival, but continued further into the cave. They found a garden of plants that could glow in darkness, filling giant chambers and chasms underground. In here, Azaria met a new companion, a small pseudo-dragon that took an interest in the ranger. They went further, finding the legendary flower, but not before the Banshee of the Elven Queen arose. That was where we left Session 9. The party fought the Banshee and a single wisp, before putting them to rest, finally. Then, in a place that felt homely and seeing a reflection of her true self, Daleth revealed that she was not human, but in fact, a tailed furbolg. A silver rose had sat on a stone with no soil, above a pond glowed towards them. Inside the pond, the group found the preserved body of the Elven Queen. Unsure of the powers of the silver rose, they decided that they were going to leave it there. They ventured back to the festival, fighting more wisps on the way, and were welcomed as heroes. They enjoyed the festivities for another night with no cost, then continued their journey, arriving at the floating web city, Reconthorn. And that was where we left Session 10. The group walked through Reconthorn, starting with resupplying what they could from vendors, remembering that they had not made any money outside of small loot from goblins about a week prior. Then, celebrating their journey in the safety of a tavern, and Eros joining in with more drinking games, they rested in the safety of an inn. The next day, they were summoned by the Baron to report on their findings in Jor, which he rewarded with 200 gold pieces per party member. Our heroes then decided to go to the Solstead Library for personal gain. But, suspicious of a restricted area, Kaya attempted to use her family name to bypass guards. And when this didn't work, a bribe was offered, but rejected. Causing more commotion than they cared to, the group left and instead followed Eros on his own personal journey to a garden temple of Bavode. Discussing visions and purpose with a priestess, they were told of a danger lurking in the ancient catacombs of the temple beneath them, that they wished to be restored. The party entered the catacombs, accidentally sealing the way they came. Then, explored to find scriptures of Bavode had been scratched out by a beast. Continuing further into the abandoned temple, a shadow demon emerged from a cracked statue of the Queen Goddess. That is where the story of next session will start. And that has been our campaign so far of the last 4 months. So that took a long time for me to type out. Yeah, we're not playing this week, unfortunately, but we will be going back as soon as we can. But we're just gonna do a little breakdown of the session so far. I just want to get what's the initial reaction hearing it all back? Like, was there things that you guys forgot about that you're hearing again, or mostly it was straightforward that you remembered?
For me, I did like a little sort of mini recap myself before coming to this session anyway, so a lot of it did kind of match beats. When I was reading back like through the D&D like recaps channel of the Discord, the one thing that like I kind of forgot about was that the whole like Gen Scion thing. Like I forgot like how we kind of thought she was like, you know, a good person, that kind of thing. And then realized later down the line that she was actually one of the werejackals. So that was one of the things that I kind of forgot going back through it.
Was she?
Well, yeah, at this point we don't even know what she was. Like she could have been.
Who knows?
She wasn't what she said she was. That's
Yeah.
for certain.
Yeah.
But that was the thing that kind of was like, fuck, we still don't know what the hell she was.
On a completely unrelated note, as you were speaking, I noticed that the word Seon, if you shift the S and the N one letter back and flip them, it just says mayor.
Really?
Yep.
It doesn't say mayor. I think you're spelling Seon wrong.
How do you spell it then?
Yeah.
Sayon.
Yeah, so
N.
it does.
N for like Nelly.
Yeah. Switch the S and the N back one letter, then flip them, and it's mayor.
What?
But there's
Let's
no
do it.
M.
I
continue.
can see it. I saw
No,
it.
the
Name.
N, you switch it back one
N.
letter.
My brain is also doing. My brain is also
Oh
switching around.
wait, switch it back a letter in the alphabet. We were
Yeah, yeah.
confused. We thought you meant switch their
Oh.
places.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
switch their
just
places. I'm like, what are you,
You also
talking
switch their
about?
places.
Yeah.
Maze doesn't spell meh.
I was
I
so
was like,
lost,
hey, that's
man.
neat.
Also, complete coincidence. It's just a fucking. It was gibberish that I came up with.
figured
and
it
I'm
was. I was just
there
like,
we go.
oh.
Yeah.
Well, Poe
The
was
best
Poe's in the
part
chat.
is Poe's in the chat.
Yeah, and she was
I
spelling
thought it was
completely wrong.
Sion.
That's
Bart's
great.
teacher name is Kerbuffle. I've been calling her Crandall.
That's a throwback.
Alright.
Also, that was day
Oh,
abuse
Lord.
sub.
There was
Good old
day
day
abuse,
abuse.
but Day was acting sus as hell early in the campaign.
Ahaha.
sauce.
You're thinking of different day abuse. I'm talking about you said Kaya helped Azariah. Day did it.
Day comforted her, but Kaya also
No,
said
Day did the fog cloud to try and help Azariah escape, and you said Kaya helped.
I said Kaya helped. I didn't say that she cast a spell. She was like, Azaria, you should go. You're clearly panicked. You should
Okay,
go.
heck this world. Okay, I'm
that's
gonna
what
mute
that's
myself
what I'm
again.
referring to. Take this moment.
don't like
take
you.
this moment of motivation away from
Too
potatoes.
bad, I do. Poe, get wrecked. You can't do nothing.
You did.
I stole it.
You did help, but it was more like.
Yeah.
The
I
overall
just did the
thing.
magic. Poe did all the talking.
By the way, I am Peter Wales. Thank you for the follow. Sorry,
Okay,
that
bye.
was
I'm going back
mid-session.
to
When
I'm
Kaya
sorry.
does a lot of talking, great things happen.
It was unfortunate
Great
that,
in parentheses.
but at the same time, like if you managed to get away, Leah, I don't know how I would have got you guys all back together again.
Yeah, that was
you would have
such
just
a-
fucked off to the woods. So I was like,
Yeah.
Oh, wait, yeah. 10
uh,
sessions
praying
later,
that she got a bad
Azariah
roll.
returns.
just write a new character sheet, please, and we'll just have a fill in. Like,
Fill in between them. Love
that was the last
Bruh.
anyone ever saw of her. She just ran off into the woods.
That's it. On.
Yeah, I didn't
That
really
is
think that
very
far ahead.
true.
Just, I need to get out of here.
Here's my
Yeah.
character, and it's gone.
So
Yeah,
yeah, I
okay.
did deliberately make it difficult, but not impossible, because I don't like making impossibilities, because you know it prevents the next thing. Maybe the rest of the group was like, well, we gotta find her. She was just out on the woods on herself with jackalwares around. Like I just assumed that everyone would have done a little
Oh yeah.
let's go save her while she's by herself kind of
Bit of
scenario.
reconnaissance.
So, yeah. I would have made it work, but it would have just been hard. So, all right. So I prepped a few questions for this. So I kind of want to just see what has been the most memorable moment in the campaign as a player for each of you.
I have so many little moments, not big moments, that like have made D&D like so memorable. I don't know if you guys have resonated with that, where like it's just small moments.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everyone was saying it in the chat, was like people were struggling
I
to
was
just
complaining.
pick a moment.
Yeah. It's like, pick a moment that's the most memorable. It's like, how about 50? Can I give you those?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I just
I'm-
thought about it for like 5 minutes and I already have like 8 of them.
Yeah.
I'm indecisive as hell. This isn't good for me.
I've got like a slightly corny answer.
Okay.
Go for
The
it.
player one. For me, it's got to be the first time all the characters met and we were all trying to find our feet in like the dialogue and everything.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, that as a player, that was the part that will always resonate with me, because up until this campaign, I'd had like 1 or 2 with friends, but we were mostly drunk and just took the piss the entire way through. Like there was never a serious roleplay element. So to me, starting off in this campaign in the ship and trying to like really seriously roleplay as Eros and see everyone else doing the same will always like resonate with me as like the most impactful moment throughout the entire campaign to me. And that is super corny, but I don't give a fuck.
No, I loved it
is.
too.
That's good.
I fucking was so happy that, you know, I started a session and straight away, like, you guys jumped straight to, yeah, it's a role-playing game, and like straight away was that, like, that was, you know, let's introduce our characters, let's start a story, rather than when are we gonna get to the rolling the dice, damn it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to kill things. No, it was about trying to craft the characters. As like rudimentary as it started, it's come such a long way since then.
Yeah, because my favorite kind of D&D games are the ones that are more focused on story aspects and world building than the actual combat encounters. The combat's fun and I like doing combat, but it needs to be like a balance of both. It can't just be like, here is 4 hours of a dungeon. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
yeah,
Have
so
fun.
I can't wait till you throw one of those at us, though.
no, yeah, like it's gonna happen,
Yeah.
but you know,
Eventually.
we've also had sessions that were entirely roleplay. So
Yeah.
you've got to balance that out by having a session that is entirely dungeon crawling and combat. So, but that it'll come, it'll be there.
It'll be there eventually.
Scared.
No.
Short rest.
Joke's on us, we're inside it right now.
I was gonna say, like, we kill the shadow demon, and then like the floor just like breaks, and there's an even deeper level of the dungeon that we need to like get through.
It's a new dimension.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's definitely not the next
Oh,
session.
no.
Spoilers?
elFarqo is frantically taking notes.
It's like, what a great idea.
Well, here's the
Maybe
thing. Here's the thing that you need to remember. You guys locked yourself in and you've
Yeah, we're
explored the
trapped.
entire spot. So it's got to be some way out eventually, right? And you're deep on the grounds.
Fine, we've
it's
got a deep
called-
gnome and a dwarf.
It's
Yeah,
true.
I'll be fine.
You also have
I
a
will just-
furbog.
Also true.
No. I'm just gonna turn into the smallest spider and run away through a crack. Bye, guys.
You piece
Peace
of
out.
shit.
Perfect plan.
Damn
Don't
you.
make it out.
It's day, really.
Hey, I protect people.
Yeah, I'll give you
It's
that.
nice of you to start that 2 sessions ago.
Yeah.
Hey,
The Banshee fight was a good start.
Yeah,
it seemed like that was the most dangerous situation so far.
It's definitely character progression from I'm in the pitch dark. You know what I'm gonna do? Run forward and get hit by this bug.
Hey!
Yeah.
I didn't
I'll-
see the bugbear, okay? I saw
Which
a
is why you
goblin and I
shouldn't
went
have
to
run
hit it.
forward.
No.
That's typically how I deal with like pitch black rooms and everything, I just fucking like jump in and just
See?
hope that there's no furniture or anything. just
Yeah.
straight into the
Yep.
room.
It was horrifying that I saw it, but I was like, Day doesn't.
Fun fact, that was
Yeah.
actually one of my little moments that was most memorable as a player. So I've kind of like divided mine into like combat based and RP based.
Yep.
Yeah.
So like yeah, that was one of the mechanic ones. One of them was like in terms of mechanics and fighting and stuff like that. I've always found it interesting to see how people like fight under pressure, but also like near misses. So for example, like the Banshee Whale didn't know what like Banshees did and like how they could just kill you. Like it was kind of crazy for that one. And
Yeah.
other like little like clutch moments is like when Eros used the channel divinity to send all the shadows away for a split second. That was
Oh,
pretty
that was great, that moment.
Yeah.
That was the
That
shrine.
saved
So
our
much.
asses.
That was the Jorvin
Yeah.
shrine.
Because that
was
helped
on
me
there.
get there.
Yeah.
I wasn't there.
Yeah, you were dilly-dallying in another room.
You went and
That's
fucked off
right.
somewhere else.
I was
Yeah,
chillaxing.
you found cloaks or whatever it was, the sashes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I found
Yeah.
sashes. I was just chillaxing, then I hear screams, and I'm like, hurry.
Yeah.
Yep. And then all of a sudden you have to go in initiative order, so it's like, all right, you can get there in like for 10 minutes of playing the game. Wait for everyone else to have a couple of turns, and then you might be in
Yep.
range for something. But
Exactly. Oh, and then like the other ones are like kind of RP moments where like just like branching off to that where they couldn't fit through the passageways of there.
the same scene.
Yeah. The same area.
Just a comedy, just a fucking comedy of errors, man.
Trying
Yeah.
to fit a bear trying to fit through like a 3-gap hole. This is like 3-foot gap. Oh.
And then like
I
the other
could
one was
totally fit.
like yeah, the other one was like where Eros and Name, I don't know if it was split in character, but we're just like laughing at Name's name. Just like,
That was
And
an
yeah.
out of
Oh, yeah.
character.
That was totally out of
That was
character.
totally out of character.
yeah,
Because
but-
was
Name,
it-
In universe, it would make no fucking sense. So
Yeah.
Eros
yeah,
would
like
be
the thing is, like for chat, well, just kind of for the stream's sake, Name to bid is name to be determined, and it's just kind of like we just started pronouncing that funny, and then it stuck. So. When it was first brought up in game, Nin and Cthulhu just losing it trying to say it was just so funny. But in universe, it's Name's name. He doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not funny
That's
to
just
him.
how it
It's
is.
just his name.
I think what made it funnier to me was imagining that it was happening in universe while I was laughing. Like the idea of Name and Eros being sat across from Jen Silta and just like saying his name and then just bursting into laughter.
laughing.
And then Jen's just there like,
Yeah, and you know what?
Fuck
It
is-
completely broke you as players because you didn't question a single thing she said. You
Yeah.
took it all on the nose, and it turns out that she was lying to your face.
yep, yep. I was like, we are the ones who have to keep up appearances here, not thinking,
Yeah.
oh yeah, we should probably be like dubious of her intentions as well. But you live and you learn, don't you?
Yeah. But
Yep,
yeah,
and
that was the
that
first time you
as well.
kind of were in that scenario. So you didn't really have a reason to doubt it. And now you're both as a player and a character, you do have reasons to just doubt when people are talking to you from a position of power. It's kind of like, yeah, but what's your place in all this? Like, why am I doing this for you kind of deal? You're like, now
Yeah.
you'll start asking those questions because you've been burned once before. So
Exactly. So it's very important, like as
Fool
characters,
me
to
once.
understand the power dynamics there. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I just
definitely.
love it though that like you left her office and were attacked by Jackalwares immediately, and then you went to the priest and you insight checked every single sentence that he said. You
Yeah,
made sure
that's
that
the other thing I was
he
gonna-
was fucking telling the truth. And then when it turns out he was, you were just like, oh, well, I don't know where to go from here.
Yeah, I had that as a
It
top
was
point as
the
well.
sequence. It was the my
Yeah.
child in the darkness. Like, what the fuck is that about, dude? I'm drunk. I'm going to assume the worst.
It's just a fucking man that went for a walk by the river. And
My
He's-
alarm.
he's a holy man, so he refers to people as like children of the realm and shit
He
like
creepy.
that. So.
Yeah. It's
But
like
yeah,
rip-
you were
ripping
drunk. You wouldn't
everything,
have
but,
you wouldn't
ugh.
have recognized anything. And if you weren't drunk, I probably would have had you roll a religion check to see if you would at least recognize what he was wearing and if it was. Actually, I think you
Actual
did try to
religious
roll for it, but it I think you failed the
Do
roll.
I think. Yeah.
And
I
I
think
was
that
just there as
evening,
emotional
drunkenness-
support.
Yeah, well, you were there as physical support as well. You stopped me from falling over.
Yeah, true.
I just need to nip to the loo, by the way. 1 second.
Yeah, all good.
Sure.
Wow.
My other two kind of dot points I have there is one of them is when Dale just decided to start a conversation with Balasar and then just like try to like I don't know deceive him and just spectacularly failing.
Immediately lying to him, like tried to get a lie out of him, and then immediately lying to him and failing to lie.
No lies here. I tell only the truth.
But
This
they
is
got
all
some
bullshit.
good advice from Barlow. from
Yeah.
that, so
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, wait. I found it funny. I didn't mention it in the session, but I found it funny how Day got the talk from Barlow, and then Azariah got the very similar talk from Baron Taxon.
yeah,
Oh,
which
yeah.
was
Oh,
which was
Oh,
really interesting because you two were the ones butting heads, like about your secrets, and then both of you pretty much was told like, if you're gonna travel with people, secrets kind of come up. Like, you know, like you got the same advice, just kind of worded a little differently.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And then my other like last up point was like the standoff in the tower in Jorvin between Day and Azariah. That was mentioned earlier. But the best part is that like Name just like didn't care and just walked between everybody to go check
Name
them.
barging past everybody and then rolling a natural
Yeah.
one on the perception check.
Yeah,
Fucking,
that was one of my
Yes.
things.
that was
Wasn't it?
hilarious.
Name walks up, sees nothing, comes down, saw nothing, guys, let's go.
Nothing here, boys. Let's go.
And the thing is, like that was one of the things I actually properly planned out with DC, like actual ratings for what the perception
Oh my
check
God.
has, and he could have seen the jackals approaching the town. They were outside watching. You can see them. That was the reason I built the tower in the middle of this town, was so then the players had an opportunity to spot the ambush. And he rolled a natural one, so I'm like, no second chances with that. You guys all fucking leave.
Yep, up in there.
Oh,
Great.
yeah.
I did find it kind of weird that tower was there with like 6 like houses, but yeah, I was as a player.
Well, there's reasons for it too, but you guys also didn't question why the extension was there in the first place.
Yeah.
Like,
Also
you just
true.
accepted that people lived an hour away, but
Mhm.
why? Like, why? There was no
Yeah.
farms or anything over there. So there's reasons for these extensions to towns existing, but your players, your characters don't know why. So
Yeah.
It's an
But yeah,
argument, and we're like, fuck this shit, I'm out.
So, yeah, like from a gameplay perspective, I built the tower there so the players had an opportunity to see the ambush, but I justified it in the world building as well, why it was there. It's just that you guys didn't find out why Jorvin exists. So
True. It's true. So yeah, that's all the little moments that I had for me
Cool.
personally.
has anyone else got a good moment? As
Yes.
a player.
Yes.
Yeah? Alright, what do you got?
Nin falling in the river at the Goblin Cave.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Good one.
He just fucking stacks it, and also how the goblin was also floating down the river in the Goblin Cave.
Just going
They're
with a
just,
little water
friends.
slide moment. And
And
what what was
Oh.
great about it was I was able to wrap it all together. Like Nin got a natural 1 on his stealth check, which is what led him falling into the river. But then I was able to kind of do the whole Dalif's tail hit Name, and Name was in front and he reacted, and so Eros, caught off guard, fell. And then the best part about it was he's like, can I catch myself on someone? Or someone, I think maybe Leo tried to catch him and rolled just as bad, but I think Azariah also fell into the water from memory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
then we pulled her out.
You managed to pull her out, but he kept going.
Yeah.
And you
And
mean
then Name
You're
pulled
still
the
muted,
arrow.
by the way.
You're
Nin.
muted, yeah.
Lol.
So
I
you
was just
trying
gonna
to talk.
say, it's funny as well because, you know, when you're rolling in D&D, it's seemingly completely random, but it's funny that seems to have been like a really weird character trait of Eros, that he's just really fucking clumsy, like physically. You know, I slipped on the thing when I was drunk. I know I was drunk, but still, I slipped. And when we were in the last campaign, when we were going down the wooden stairs leading into the Shadow Demon, like room with the dead crimson root, Eros slipped again. I rolled terribly on like the dexterity check. It just he
To
can't
the
seem to keep
stairs.
his fucking balance.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's
He is
weird because the
clumsy.
rolls are completely random, yet they always line up with dexterity and stealth checks for Eros. He's just terrible at it. But yeah, I like that moment too. It's very funny.
Another tiny moment would be Kaya climbing the tree and falling down.
Oh, that's another session 1
yeah.
moment.
And that was that was a session 1 moment.
That was
Yeah,
you
it
guys
was.
got off the bank of the river, climbed a tree, and fell. Like it was
It
like
was
the
good.
first free action
Good
that you
moment.
thought you had, and it was like,
Yeah.
nope, never mind.
It's not happening.
Pose put in the
Um,
chat Barlow's entrance into combat from the
Oh,
river,
yeah.
from the dockhouse, where
Oh,
he
yeah.
jumped over the
Dockhouse.
counter and then smacked a jack away with a hammer. No, wait, I
Oh,
don't think he did
fuck,
that
he
first. He did the fire breath first. I'm pretty
Fire
sure.
breath, yeah.
Yeah, but he was also the only one who saw me as a giant spider.
That's
yeah.
true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was able to be like, that's your friend.
Yeah, like when I'm poking Kaya's unconscious body, it's like, don't kill the spider.
And then Kaya like
Don't
wakes
kill
up
Spider.
and is like, there's a spider touching me.
And not like a huntsman. We're talking like a fucking
Giant wolf
Aragog,
spider.
Shelob level
Huge.
spider.
Yeah, like the, yeah. God, that
Oh.
was funny. That
That's
was
scary.
That was a lot
Um,
of fun to throw Balasar into the mix. I decided to make his character sheet in case like you guys got in a fight in a tavern. If you said the wrong thing, he would like kind of step between and be like, you don't do this in my tavern kind of thing. And that was the only reason I built his character sheet. And then I just thought, yeah, this is a cool introduction. Fuck it, I'm going to throw him in this fight. Like, it was a split
Nice.
decision to just be like, sure, I'm going to throw the Dragonborn in. And then it just led to, like, this weird companionship that you just started to, like, have with him.
Yeah.
Carlo's gone sub.
Can I think, I mean, the reason I was drawn so much to Balasar, other than the fact that he was such a fun character and also a complete badass, is because, like, of all the characters that you've acted out, you know, in this story so far, Farqo, it felt the most like that was the one that, like, felt like your avatar. Like, this was
Yeah.
Farqo's character. And that's why I liked him so much. It's like, this is actually, like, Farqo in the game with us. If that makes any sense. Just, yeah.
He has a cool backstory, too. It's not my backstory, but it's Balasar's backstory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, Balasar.
I wrote one out after that fight because I was like, I'm going to need more than just dot points in case you guys prod or you convince him to travel with
wish
you,
he
which
came with
eventually you
us.
did. But, you know, well, I mean, his wife died.
I don't care. I
Yeah.
still wish he came with us.
Yeah.
Um,
Return to
wait,
Sunland.
like my last like proper one would probably be when we were all like at the campfire and I wild shaped into a bear, and then Name and both Name and V were like trying to we were
ride.
practicing
Oh,
riding
yeah.
as a bear, and then V was
Yeah.
dangling off of my back.
What about that? It's a good
That
one.
was fun.
That was a fun
That's
one.
cute.
Leah, do you have
Yeah,
any
that's
moments?
probably.
I mean, it's been hard because there's been so many, like everyone says, there's been so many good, just like little things that happen. That, just make it funny. But in terms of like memorable, specifically for me, and it's gonna sound a bit, I suppose, a bit sad, but I think because we've formed such a close relationship with Balasar, and then when we came back and he was grieving over his dead wife, I found that really quite emotional. I think because you become invested in him, and then I don't know about anyone else, but I felt partly responsible that we didn't get there sooner and couldn't stop it. So it was such a sad moment, but it kind of shows how much you can become invested in a story and a character.
Yeah. Poe actually put the exact same thing in the chat. She put the same scene. She said the scene that
Wow.
when we got back to Jor from Jorvin and saw everyone mourning, especially Barlow, was so heartbreaking. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you also don't know what
Yeah.
triggered the attack. That's the other thing. Like,
Yeah.
So
This-
it was
Might
funny.
have just been
it's
us
funny.
leaving.
It's funny because when you were doing the wrap up before, I wrote I was writing down questions, and my first one is exactly what you just said. What triggered the attack on Jaw? Because we don't actually know.
you didn't figure it
Don't
out.
know.
It was more like the only trigger that you seemed to have was that you left town.
That
Whether
we
or not
left.
that was the
The
trigger,
Mm.
you're not sure.
Yeah,
But
the only other theory that I have is it seems way too convenient that Baron Tarxin was there the day after.
Hmm.
True.
that's
after
that's a
2
cool
months. After 2 months of not
Not
having
being there.
any contact, he happens to arrive the day after. I mean, come on,
Yeah,
Just need to make
I
some notes. 1 second.
Oh, good
Baron
point.
Tarxin
See, this is why the
becomes
whole
big bad evil
podcast
guy.
exists, just to file
Yeah,
some
the
notes.
podcast exists just so I can change the podcast. I can change the campaign around what you guys
Oh my
think
God.
the
Do it.
session's gonna be, and then I'll just change it.
that's what we call a twat.
Ah!
Wow.
Ah!
Just
Bringing
like
the
the
name into it.
namesake.
Wonderful.
Perfect.
I love
That's
how we've all forgotten about the most important NPC in this, and that's Branchy. Rest in peace.
Oh my
I,
God,
I didn't.
Branchy.
I didn't put Branchy in the recap. I should have put
Oh,
Branchy.
Branchy.
Wow.
Oh,
poor
How could we
Branchy.
forget about Branchy? My favorite thing about Branchy was Mashy's desire to be rid of desire to keep Branchy
And
in
Dave.
comparison to Dave's complete ambivalence towards Branchy, just
Yeah.
complete disinterest.
That was
It's
that was such a
fucking
great
Branch.
player verse character fucking thing
I
going
really
on.
wanted Branchy.
It's like you
happened to
know,
Branchy? I forgot.
Daleth knows, but Branchy just got left behind. Just got
Yeah.
Yeah,
left
he
in the
got left
woods.
behind
Yeah.
at the campfire in a bush.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
when
sad.
you guys
Jorvin.
at Jorvin, you guys camped outside after the fight. I think you
Oh,
got to Azure the next morning from memory, or maybe it was a short rest. I can't remember. But yeah, it was Jorvin. But Branchy is still there right now.
Yeah. Anyone want to go back to Branchy?
Who gives a shit about the Silver Flower, man? We need to go get
Yo.
Branchy back right now.
What if leaving Branchy behind was the trigger for the attack?
Oh no!
Oh no!
Branchy is the big bad evil guy.
Yeah, Branchy is the big bad evil guy. Yeah.
I
The one
swear we
leaving notes.
actually made that joke at the session. We were like, Branchy's the big bad evil guy. Branchy's gonna come back and get us
Yeah.
all.
He's gonna kill us.
Yeah, involved with the cult and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it.
Branchy is the true vine.
I always knew it.
Evil vibe.
There are so many cool little moments, bruh.
Has anyone got any others as a player?
I think it's just been awesome to play so consistently. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
it's so
something
much
I
easier
longed for a long time.
it's so much easier to get into character and to stay into character and make decisions that your character would actually make, as opposed to like, wait, who is this character again? What do I do?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's exactly it. Yeah.
I had
had
that
some issues
problem.
with that, though.
I had that problem with the previous campaign that I homebrewed, Riven.
Yeah.
When I had to cover for someone, I was DMing, and then they were just kind of going to be there as an NPC, and I was going to write them out. They were going to be kidnapped, or I think they had a curse on them that they essentially just went unconscious for like a week. But in that time leading up to that, I had to roleplay as them, and then one of the players was asked them a question, and I was like, I have no memory on what this character's mannerism is, what like their voice was for it. I'm just gonna play it like dot point out, and I'm just like, you talk for a while and they say this information, and then they're like, okay, say it now in character. Like I got prodded, like, go on. Like, you gotta play it out. I'm like, but I don't remember anything about them.
No.
It's like,
You
this
wanna
isn't
swap?
my character. This was one of the players, so that I was just covering for. So like, it was hard for me to keep track of. Whereas now, you know, I played as both Virillion and Name last session, and I feel like I was true to point with both of them. I feel like I was,
pretty
I was
good.
up there.
I watched
Great.
it back.
Yeah, I watched it back as well. I watched the part like from where I left out. I was also like every time I had like a chance to like go up to my room, I was frantically checking the stream and keeping tabs on what you guys were doing.
You came at the end. You like after we finished stream and wrapped up, you like came and like, hey guys.
Yeah, I
I'm
was like,
here, by the
hello.
way.
Oh yeah. The
I
best
can
part for
talk
that
about
was the gnome thing that you got, like, you set up for like, I don't know,
You got
15 minutes. You got gnomed, and it was so
It lasted
distracting.
what, 10 minutes, man. I just every time I looked up, I just saw this gnome jumping across the screen.
Oh, you got gnomed.
You got gnomed.
Yeah.
I was
That
like,
was so
God.
funny.
I can't do this.
Too much.
I can't remember if it was mentioned already, but the boat eater.
The
Oh
what?
yeah, the boat eater.
The what?
The
That's
boat
fun.
eater.
Man that
Yeah.
yeeted himself off the boat.
Oh,
yeah.
the first session,
It's a
yeah.
throwback.
Old mate was like,
Yeah.
oh, fuck
I
this, I'm
completely
out.
forgot about that. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
I couldn't remember if we'd said it or not, because I know
Yeah.
me and Leah talked about saying it, but I can't remember if we had.
Yeah, I forgot
Oh,
about
actually,
that.
I just remembered another one as well. Like the kind of generalizing a little bit, but like the visions that
Oh, yeah.
I think most characters have had at one point now have been just fucking awesome.
That's it.
The only ones are really Virillion's backstory hasn't really come up outside of
Yeah.
a sentence
I
or
was
two.
thinking-
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Alliance.
Yeah, like the Feldorn
about it.
Alliance. That's all you've heard about it.
Like, he's had that
and-
conversation with Taxon, and we don't know what they've spoken about.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
because we didn't even get to hear
To
anything
be
out
fair,
of character.
Manuel doesn't even know what they've spoken about. I haven't sent
Oh.
him the notes
really?
yet.
I thought you DM'd him. Oh,
no,
okay.
I haven't completed it because there would be roles and stuff
Oh.
involved. So
Yep.
I
Right,
wanted
okay.
to actually like go through and see what he would have found. But from a world building aspect, I think all of the players would be aware of Feldorn. Well, I mean, characters would be aware of Feldorn.
Including me?
Maybe not Day. But probably from stories, because Feldorn aren't a new thing.
Yay.
They're a neighboring nation on
Oh,
Trithorn.
so I might have had a bit.
Yeah, they're essentially just a kingdom of dwarves and gnomes that live in the
Yeah.
mountains to the southwest of Trithorn. And essentially none of you know anything about the fucking cities or anything. You just know that they're there. and that's kind of like the extent of it, I'm gonna say. But yeah, you're aware of what Feldorn is.
I know,
and
tell us more.
maybe hearing that, he's confirmed that he's from Feldorn, that seems like an odd thing. Like, you wouldn't have expected him to be there, or you've never met anyone from Feldorn kind of deal. So it might be a bit strange, but not completely unheard of. So, yeah.
Okay.
It's uncommon.
Woo.
Well, what do you think your character's most memorable moment of the adventure has been so far?
Who's first?
Well, for me, that's a slightly easy one because it was probably the moment with the Raven in the previous session. Like, in terms of impactfulness for Eros,
Yes.
having that sort of actual conversation with this, like, spectral, familiar Raven, like, and learning something about it for the first time, like its name, which I have written down, which I'm going to quickly pull up.
Yeah, I
because
can't
I
remember.
don't
I
Quickly
don't
look
have that
at the
open.
name.
Off my head. It's on my notes. Give me a second.
Starts with A, I think.
Alvora.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh,
Alvora.
Yeah, that sounds alright.
Yeah.
The,
So just that.
A
that would be
servant,
Eros's
a
problem.
servant to her lady Bavode.
Vote,
Yeah.
vote, praise be. I love
Friend of
Bavode.
the bud.
So yeah, I'd say that. I mean, it seems I hate it because it is such an easy answer, but that is very much that is the most important thing to have happened in Eros's like whole story so far, for him personally.
And also
Getting an
probably
actual
like
connection.
being told like, no, you're not on a specific path. We're just here to make
Yeah.
like we're watching you and hoping that you make the right choices. And if you do, we're gonna keep being there for you. But so it'll be disappointing if you let us down, kind of deal. And like that's
Oh,
what
no.
you're
It's on
told.
him.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
just
yeah.
like
There's not a path he fulfills.
You're not looking for destination A. It's like you're gonna have to make choices in your life, and you've got some responsibility to do this.
You got
kind of
wiggle
stuff.
room.
So
You got wiggle room.
yeah, you get a little bit of wiggle room.
So
Um,
yeah, for
sorry, I
Eros,
had
that
to-
would be it.
Cool. That's pretty cool. I would have thought his vision as well, but that doesn't really happen in the adventure, I guess. It's more...
Oh yeah,
So-
I was gonna say with the visions, it was more of a sort of like it's something that he had apart from the party. I felt like with the party involved, this was more important because not only did Eros get us like a connection to Bavode and Alvora, but also the rest of the party saw it as well.
Yeah.
So I felt it was like more important in that sense.
And you looked in a pond and saw a raven behind you.
Mm.
Yeah.
In, the
Just kind of
moon
doing some
weaver.
circles.
Just chilling in the
Just
background,
chilling in the
being
background.
like, "Oh, how you doing?"
Ayo.
That bitch.
I think for V, it would have been just reading. I forget what Captain was it. Captain Festorn of the other boat.
Yeah,
His journal?
there was
Yeah.
Corgin and Festorn.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
and yeah, just reading his journal, realizing that like the journal just stopped suddenly. So like, I think at that point he kind of realized that, as much as you're a very curious and enthusiastic type of gnome person, you got to be careful if you are too trusting, and yeah, just making sure that you kind of think twice about certain things.
I forgot about the journal, to be honest.
Yeah, you forgot
It's-
about the
yeah,
journal.
It's in my it would be in my notes. Like I would go back
Yeah.
and be like, oh yeah, he's got that, and I would bring it up again. But
Yeah.
I forgot
Because-
that you looked at that.
Because he thought that like maybe the stuff with the Jackalwares is bigger than Jaw. Like it could be
I
anything, and then
yeah,
even more
Yeah.
so the like Crimson Roots. Who knows how widespread that could be?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think we actually said that at that time, maybe jokingly, that like this is also in Regenthorn's kind of deal because he had come from Regenthorn and was going the other way.
Yeah, so it just stopped. And then I
you
think
have had confirmation too that it has happened in Reconthorn.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was a big deal.
Woo.
and And then the other one is just kind of like small but kind of slightly significant, was like Brilliant giving Daylith the components for her to do her spells, just as an
That was
act of
sweet.
kindness. Yeah.
Yeah. Mashi was messaging me like, "Do I have one of these?" I'm like, "You don't." And she's like, "How do I get one?" And I'm like, "Well, you can either go buy one, find one in the wild maybe, or you could ask your wizard that's carrying one if you can use it."
Yeah. I've never really played, we've never really had like a proper wizard, so I didn't actually know anything about component pouches.
They just have
So like
everything.
that was new.
Component
Yeah,
pouches
when I
just
found
have
out how
all of
much
the
they
fucking
have.
components.
And then there's me, I just have different twigs.
Yeah.
Different twigs.
Hey,
Nice.
if anyone needs a twig, I'm your gal.
Do you have branching by any chance?
No, sorry. That's a branch, not a twig. I said twigs.
Oh, too soon.
Too soon.
My heart. Again,
My
they
heart.
wouldn't give a shit, but
My
my
heart.
heart.
Mash, what's your what do you think Day's most memorable moment?
Similar to Ninderil, I'm a basic bitch. But it would probably have to just be like seeing the groves again, and like also hearing the story at the caravan place, because like learning new things about my like gods and stuff, and finally like finding people after months who don't actually like think my religion is like cursed and like super bad to like follow. And yeah, just being in the groves after like months of not seeing them.
Yeah,
And
I like
Day,
we
like-
talked afterwards too, and you're like, "I know what my home looks like now," because like,
Yeah, because now I
because,
have visual representation.
like we had like discussion about it, but I think that was the first time you kind of realized like what the plants around it would have actually looked
Yeah.
like, and
We
what
didn't really have any fantasy plants, and now I know.
Yeah, now you know, but they're fucking like they're a beacon.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, that's really cool.
And you threatening Oskreth as well, I thought was pretty cool.
I was just angry.
It's coming in there like, don't you fucking dare.
Don't ruin the similar place to my home. I'll come for you. You touch it. Oh god. But yeah, no, that was really nice.
Cthulhu Allspark. What would you?
Hey, that's me.
What would you say Name's favorite moment has been?
Oof. That's a loaded question. In
Ouch.
in like I feel like a negative-ish light. I think his most memorable one is the particularly the first encounter with what we now know to be the mineral smile.
Oh.
That's in his mind a lot.
Yeah.
And is driving a lot of his decisions recently. And then I think like on the flip side of that is like just the weird. I just love the weird like bromance that is developing with Aros and Name. It's so cool.
Cleric
Oh,
Bros.
yeah.
Good.
Cleric
too.
Bros. It's so awesome.
Oh.
I
It's
worked
cute as hell.
on the mineral smile for fucking ages. And it was
Yeah.
funny because I started writing the mineral smile after you wrote your backstory. So it was kind of like you didn't know who your deity was, and neither did I. And I was like, I've got to come up with one that's gonna suit lightning, but I don't want to have just like a storm god kind of thing. Like I just don't want, like a generic. I didn't want T-Storms to just enter as a god in the. In it. He's gonna enter as a player at some point, you know. So.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
I just had a thought in my head.
Right.
Storms is the mineral smile.
Oh no.
Oh, dun, dun, dun.
And so I I just had the thought, like, how can I change lightning to be cool, and then started to think, fucking,
Yeah.
like, what conducts
It's
electricity instead, and how do I make this fucking creepy?
It's creepy. It's so creepy.
I essentially just wanted, like, you to imagine a scene from Dark Souls as Feldemore Castle, and having the figure sit on the stairs that's kind of like hooded, but you can walk past and talk to get information, kind of deal. Like, that was what my, like, scene motivation was for it. And then
it was exactly that.
Well, fuck, man. When I started writing the Mineral Smile out, I was like, this is it. Let me just, I'll ask you. And I kept it super vague. Like, do you mind if I just, like, fuck with whatever you thought you were getting into? And I found something cooler. Because I'm writing this instead.
And then I was like, go for it. Give me something cool, bro.
I'm like, sweet. So, yeah. I really just, especially, I wanted the exact opposite for what Eros has. Because Eros has this god that's like, nature is lovely and here is a flower and a bird kind of deal. Like, you know, like I wanted something that looks like it's fucking belonging in the underworld. And
have some metal and rock and death and destruction.
Cleric.
I'm a cleric. Let me heal you.
Let me take you to a castle, and then you find out that a fucking grand arcane user was just killed there. Like, well, you haven't found that out of character, you have, but from Azariah's talks, but you know, like, you've seen some shit that Name doesn't even know what it means. Like, he's just there like, why am I at a car? Huh? I was in a forest.
Desmond, the moon cleric.
Yeah. Name, the thunder cleric. How did I get here?
How did I get here?
Yeah.
And that's also the thing, Name is like, he's not the smartest dude. So, just like,
no idea how to interpret the information that
the
he's
fuck
got.
is this?
But he just read in a book that he's not just seeing these places. He's not just having a vision. He's going to places that actually exist, and
the
he's
events are actually
witnessing
happening.
events that are actually happening. It's not just a vision. So
I don't remember if it was discussed. Was there like a time frame on those visions? Like, is it something that's currently happening, or like, is it past events, or is it future events, or unclear?
Unclear for you at this point. You'll have to find that out by researching more of the Mineral Smile.
That seems easy.
Yeah, dude, you found out that there's like
easy.
less than 10 people that have actual confirmed contact with him, so good luck.
Write yourself on that list now.
Good luck, low intelligence character. Off you go.
Fine, I
One
have
day.
high wisdom. We'll be fine.
Yeah. Sweet. Leah, what do you think Azaria's favorite, well, maybe not favorite, but most memorable moment has been?
I mean, I think the most obvious one is finding and bonding with a pseudo dragon.
Oh yeah,
Um,
for sure.
both as a player and as a character, but I think because of my character's story, there's a lot of solitude, and also like loneliness. So I think something like that has more of an impact, like
Yeah.
emotionally and mentally.
Mm.
But also there's moments like that with other players or other characters that also I think I would consider quite memorable for her as well. So when we were in the tavern and she decided to escape, even after everything that happened with Day and obviously not trusting her and threatening her, and then she still helped her to escape. So I think moments like that as well, because my character's clearly not a trusting person, has a massive impact and are very memorable as well.
Yeah, hearing the words Lady Earwood come out of Taxon's mouth, it was quite. I reckon that was quite the thing for the party to be like. So the person who is like untrustworthy also has a bit of a secret going on. There's like a yeah. It was very cool.
Wasn't Lady Taxon? I should point out, she wasn't called Lady Taxon.
No, I said Lady Earwood. I said that coming out of Taxon's mouth.
Oh, sorry, I misheard the end.
Yeah, Lady Earwood.
She wasn't called Lady Earwood at first, though.
No.
She
What
was.
was she called at first then?
Well, if you don't remember, then that's fine because you weren't in the room for that discussion.
Okay,
so
never mind.
It works out actually.
Oh right, yeah, of course, because that was like a.
I'm gonna
conversation
get Macy
between-
one moment.
Okay.
I probably have it written
I
down
have it.
somewhere. Yeah. But that's the way that he's kind of referred to your character from that point onwards, right?
Yeah, Lady Airwood, because I suppose Airwood is essentially my maiden name.
Makes
That's the
sense.
thing, I can't
Hey,
really
hey.
remember the name of your husband, or like, husband to be. I can't recall his name.
I don't know. I can't remember when it was said.
Yeah, like again, it's probably my notes somewhere, but my notes are a fucking mess.
Sorry,
So is mine.
Macy was barking at herself. What are we trying to remember when it was said?
I'm
The,
trying to remember the name.
Name of the husband of my husband.
Dynavore.
Yeah, I just can't remember when it was said and who it was said in front of.
It was only you. So Baron, this was when
room
Baron
together.
Taxum did the questioning of the group. He asked if you wanted to have a discussion privately, since maybe he did call you that in front of everyone, and you said it's not your name.
I think he did because it was
Yeah,
in the tavern
that's
when
what
he came to question us.
That's what triggered it.
Lady Dynavore.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
so my
I've got-
mistake.
I've got-
You do know it. It's
I've got it written
Lady Dynavore is what.
Dynavore, yeah.
name is. Yeah.
I've got it in like caps. Azariah has been spotted. Lady Dynavore. I've got it written right here.
So yeah, he called you that, and then everyone kind of like reacted strange, and he was like, "Oh," and you said, "That's not my name," and he goes, "Oh
Yeah.
shit, sorry. Should we be talking about this privately then?"
Yeah.
That's what led to private
Yeah.
discussion.
My
I was like,
bad.
"Oh
There's
shit,
so
my
many
bad."
secret names. We've got Dynavore, we've got Varethiel. Like, heck.
Well, they're not secret
Yeah.
names. They're very popular names.
Now they're
actually.
out, but they were secret. Hey, they're popular to others. I don't know nothing.
Yeah, you don't know shit. They mean nothing to you either. Like, you're just there like,
Yeah, they're just another name. I'm just
why
like,
do you have a different name?
to be honest, no. See, the thing is, my character would understand having a different name.
Right, yeah. And the thing is, it's very
Oh.
common for names to change too. Like, elves just change their name once they
Oh,
like,
do
reach
they?
adulthood. Yeah, they have a child name.
Oh wait, yeah,
Child
there's
name
the
and adult
adult
name.
versus child.
And
I
orcs is
remember
this,
reading
they
about
have like
that.
clan names, don't they? Orcs
Sorry?
or
Yeah.
something.
Uh,
Orcs have like a clan name or something.
I can't remember orcs, but dragonborns do,
Dragonborns do.
Dragonborns do.
which is
okay.
what we've discussed in game because
Ah, that was the one then.
last session,
Day.
Dayleth was disguised as a dragonborn, and then Azaria's like,
Shut
"You
up!
don't speak
bring it up again.
Draconic."
To teach her about Dragonborns.
It's like, and what's your
I'm-
clan name gonna
yeah.
be? I don't know. I was raised in an orphanage.
Oh wait.
Dragonborn does
guess-
no.
Yeah, no. But one more thing that's probably good to my character, like memorable to my character, is seeing like furbolgs just around the big city. Because she
Without
wasn't used to
tails.
that at all.
Without
Yeah, without
tails,
tails.
yeah.
That's why I've hidden my tail now.
Yeah, you've hidden your tail.
What happened to your tail?
Yeah, when you're just like, what happened? And I'm just like, magic.
Which,
Wiggles
for
my
everyone
fingers.
else, this is quite the deformity. You know,
Yeah.
furbolgs aren't like unheard of. They're around. It's typically weird to see them in cities, but you know, you saw like the odd
Yeah.
one. But
That's why I was shocked.
But yeah, to see one with a tail is like, a real what the fuck kind of moment.
Like, I'm the weird one. No,
Yeah.
you're the weird one.
But yeah, Leah, what do you reckon Azaria's most memorable moment is? Oh no, you did yours, didn't you?
Yeah,
we
It
just
was,
discussed
it was
that, I
the
think.
dragon. It was the dragon. My bad.
Andar.
Yeah.
My B.
Learning the name was cool.
Best friend.
Yeah.
was great.
And
The thing is, it's like, yeah, I put it as a placeholder of what its name was gonna be,
Yeah.
and then it happened to roll on the placeholder, and I was like, oh.
It was beautiful.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah, so
well,
what
then
should we do
I
then?
guess I won't change the character sheet then.
It's the best name out of all the ones that came out. That was my favorite.
I really like the bringer of death one as well, like Alcor, I think it was, or something like that.
elFarqo, yeah, I really like that one as well.
That was the other one, but I was
Mm.
going between. But yeah, and he's
Oh,
a cocky little fucker over it too. He's like, yes, I am the eternal flame.
Yeah, when he
That's
posed,
I am.
when he posed, that was so cute.
me.
Yeah, apparently in like pseudo dragon, like I guess mythology in D&D, they're all very competitive and like hold bragging rights over everything. So what you barking at me for? She just walked up to me and barked.
Yeah.
When Dragonborn, or when pseudo dragons like think that they've got the best name, they like brag about it to the other pseudo dragons and shit. Like they're very competitive. Like I'm the eternal flame, and it's like, yeah, well, I am the bringer of death. Like they have this
Please.
little argument with each other. So maybe
Please
one day
include another pseudo
you gotta
dragon.
find another pseudo dragon
I
so
don't
you can have a
I
little
want to see this.
dragon off.
Can a wizard at the tower have a pseudo dragon?
Pose put in the chat, just being in Reconthorn has been very interesting, slowly uncovering Kaya's story and personality, how she acts around
true.
people of high authority and to average people. Seeing that woman in the garden, Kaya trying to use her name to enter the restricted section, and Kaya buying arrows. Yeah, the woman in the garden. Maybe next session, maybe not. See if you guys can find out who that was that Kaya saw
True.
walking past.
I've got
Oh
that
yeah,
line
the
in my
one
head
who was
again
the
now.
copper skin.
The copper skin, yeah. I'm just remembering what the security guard said. I know your dad. He doesn't get in here either.
That's right. And the public are just looking.
Yeah, I loved it because like Solstead Academy, not Solstead Academy, Solstead Library is you know, it just has a section that like not everyone is allowed to go into, and then immediately as players you're like, what's in the restricted section? There's gonna be something in there.
They're gonna get in there.
We're gonna get in there and it's gonna be a chest with a jewel and instructions on how to save the planet.
Whee.
All right, we're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Yes.
We did it.
And those kind
We
of
did the
traps, like,
D&D.
I'll totally just throw those kind of things in there, because I did in the first session with Feldemore Castle with the old group. Put a big golden door with like a color-coded puzzle, and the entire castle there's statues to like say there's a dragon in this castle.
Hey guys, we opened it and turns out there was a dragon in it.
Yeah, finally enough.
Spoiler alert.
No way.
It's just like
Oh my
hinting the
God.
entire way through, and they're like, yeah, but it's a shiny door, like we can't leave. We've got an option to leave.
Gotta open it.
But, you
No,
know,
no, shiny door.
maybe we should open the door. And immediately we're
favourite
like,
thing-
we need to leave.
That's now canon as well in this world.
Yep.
Because I went and saw it.
You saw it. It
Yep,
happened.
it's true.
Yeah.
Happened.
The consequences
God.
of one group will affect the next one that plays in this world. Like, it's
Oh
all
dear.
gonna.
That's so cool.
all
I will
intertwined.
always have it happen like in this world, even if it's on a different continent. You know, there might be rumors of shit.
I do
Yeah.
have that question actually. I don't know if that's like too early to ask though, because I know you wanted to kind of like get through your questions that you've got in the D&D
No,
channel
that's all right.
first. Well, I was just gonna ask like, do you have any information about the one shot at all? Like who would be included or what you would be doing
Oh,
for
yeah.
the one shot?
So no, I've essentially, as soon as I announced that I wanted to do D&D on stream and who was interested, and immediately Nin on stream, you were like, I would love to play D&D, that would be a fun game to stream. So I was like, okay, well there's one, and I already knew like if I asked V and Cthulhu that it would like work. Like they were just like, yeah, 100% we're in. And so I knew those ones, and then Mashi, Leah, and Poe were showing interest in chat whenever I was talking about like I want to do it. So that started, and I'm like, cool, I've got my group of 6. And then as soon as it became official that I was gonna do it, I just started getting DMs from other streamers about like, yo, how do I get in on this? And I'm like, I don't think I can do more than 6. This is a 6-player group. Don't know if I could manage more than 6, especially if it's circumstances like last week where one person was away and swapped out with another person. I would have to take over and start managing extra characters more than what I'm already doing. So
And DMing is hard once the group gets to this size. It starts to get a lot harder to manage everything. And like the combat gets really long and can at times drag out a bit.
Yeah, my last one was a group of 10, and not including the DM, and we didn't get much done.
No.
Yeah,
Like,
I've
this
DM'd
group is so much nicer.
I've DM'd a group of, I think it was 11.
Oh god,
Yeah, it was a lot.
that's even worse than what I had.
Yeah, I think it was 11. It was either 10 or 11. I can't remember if I was the 11th person. But yeah, it was essentially just like I had a campaign planned. They got halfway through, and then we never got together again because try getting 11 people to be free on a Saturday, like for hours.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like we could never get like any time together because like it's always one person was busy and that one person wouldn't want to be like, oh yeah, play without me.
Exactly, and so it was that you know that group is still in a cave. on a little canoe.
On a cave.
I think they were on boats last time.
Yeah, you were on canoes.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I forget what they were, but like octopus-looking things that just grabbed our heads and stuff like that.
The creatures
Alien
are called
babies?
no, the creatures are called dark mantles. They pose as like stalagmites, like fucking rocks in caves, like the pointed rocks.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, they're the pointed rocks from the top or the bottom of the cave, and essentially they drop and they're actually like a squid creature, and they try and grab onto your head and blind you and then attack you. I like it. And my favorite thing when I ran that encounter was not a single person tried to pull them off. They all tried to stab them while they were wearing them.
That's amazing.
It's a good time.
Not a single person was like, I try and pull the creature off my head, and there was like 4 of them with them on.
Just do this instead, like.
Yeah,
shooting arrows as well at them.
Yeah, there were like people.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
If that arrow went through, you'd literally pierce someone's skull.
So the way to get around that was like they're tall. They've got quite like a brain on them, so you could shoot above a person
okay,
and you
so
would
it's like
hit
a
them.
squid.
That was the way to get around that. But like the person that's blinded had like all of these conditions, so they weren't able to like. I'm pretty sure they roll at disadvantage. I need to remember what the conditions were.
Yeah,
but
if it's blinded, definitely.
And so because they were blinded, they couldn't hit the damn thing. Like it was more like, and the way I had to keep describing it is, you think you're gonna hit yourself, so you stop at the last second. Because how do you miss something that's covering your face?
True.
So it's kind of like, I can't have it miss, or I'd have it like its skin was too thick and they didn't get enough strength. So, and I just had to keep describing it like that. So that encounter with 10 or 11 people took a long time because they kept missing the damn things.
God, it's so hard.
For the rest of your question, Nin, it will be happening in the same time, and I think I'm going to keep it to the Bavarian Empire.
Okay.
But yeah, for who it's going to be involving, I haven't confirmed because I haven't actually set that I'm going to do it. But I might do it next weekend if 2 of you are unavailable. So that might work out. But yeah, it's going to be more like first-time players again. So the thing about one-shots, level 1 one-shots suck. So having new players is going to be the challenge, rather than an ongoing campaign like this one was, because I put you in and I leveled you up immediately. You didn't get enough XP if we went that way, but I was like, I don't care, I'm not doing level 1 anymore. Level 1 sucks. You guys know how to play now.
Yeah. Can we go to level 4 though, so I can swim, please?
You need to do arc by arc, and you're like just starting one. You've got in there, and I don't even know which way you're gonna go. Like, it seems like you're kicking off Eros's story, but there's gonna be like
there's so many.
You won't be dedicated to that, so it's gonna be like you start that, and then you'll probably go to someone else's while you're in Reconthorn, because otherwise you do one story and then you leave Reconthorn just to come back to do the things that everyone else wanted to do. So it's gonna be a lot of introduction section.
It's not like an RPG where you have like a quest line and you can just fast travel to each point you need to go to in this quest. Like, you come out, we'll probably, if we come out of that temple, we'll go.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
V, please learn teleportation.
Oh shit! Okay, never mind then.
It's only like a 4th or 5th level spell. I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure it's 5th. I'm pretty sure it's 5th.
We got 2 arcs to get through then.
Please level us up.
Look, you guys found teleportation circles. You know what they do.
Yeah, the circles, remember?
Yeah.
Just gotta figure out how to
use them. You just got to find circles, and then eventually you've got a wizard that will be able to draw his own.
Yeah.
So
it's 5th level.
And then he'll draw that circle, and how teleportation circles work is once you know where one is, you go to that one. So when V draws a circle, he could choose to go back to the Goblin Cave, or he could go under the church.
Oh shit!
Like, because he knows where those two are. So
it'll join the link.
That's
Wait, so are every single one connected? You can't do like a different sort of design or anything, like change it to make it unique.
You change it for yourself, but
they're all unique. Is the thing. Like, if you don't know the uniqueness of the circle, you can't go there.
Oh, okay.
So you have to like see the circle and memorize it.
Yeah.
Which Varillion probably would have done.
He
did examine.
I mean, hey, there were dead bodies all over it. I don't know how you saw the circle.
Yeah.
So essentially, like, a wizard will draw it in their spell book, just to be like, here's a circle. This is what it looks like, and then at the top of the page, like, Jorvin Church, your church, or your Goblin Cave kind of deal. Like, he'll just write where it is and then what it looks like, and then he can connect to it from his own.
And then a bear will send through as a test dummy.
It'll work. It'll work. Those ones definitely work.
Through teleportation circle.
They're too thick.
Cool. Now, the next question was, is there any particular loose end that you guys are excited, or at least interested in exploring? Like,
is all of them an acceptable answer?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Well, I just want to, like, is there one that stands out to anybody?
I got 3.
Okay.
I got 1. Go, Mashi.
Then go first. No, you go first.
No, you already said it first. No, Mashi said it first.
No, too bad. You go first.
No, you go first.
You can go first.
No, you go first, Mashi.
Linda will go fucking first.
Alright, fine. Fine.
Thank you.
Ever since you said it, Farqo, the silver flower.
Fuck, that was my...
I'm like, but we messed up. I thought I was doing a good thing, and no.
Yeah.
That
was like one of the main ones, whether or not the flower's gonna be gone if we like ever head back there.
Or if someone's gonna take it and use it against us, or generally for bad things.
Well,
I'm scared now.
I'm so angry at myself because that was Mashy being an idiot, not Day.
So why do you
Same.
think
In
that
real.
the flower is at risk? Like, what makes you think
Because
that?
you told us. You were like the one thing
no, but I think
protecting
you
it, which
mean
is the
like
banshee is gone.
specifically. You mean specifically what's it in danger of, right? Like what's
Like, what do you think would
I-
happen? Like, what are your fears? Is someone going to go in and take the flower? Is that what you're thinking is
Yeah.
going to happen?
Veltar? Veltar,
Big
that's my
bad
first
scary
thought.
man.
So,
Veltar's gonna go get it.
so
or
this
something.
is kind of the thing that I was hinting at the other day, where you guys seem to be missing something really big from the Moonweaver Grove, but your characters just happily bypassed and went back. What was protecting the flower?
The
I know.
banshee.
The,
And the wisp.
the banshee, right?
Hmm.
What
And
caused
we
the
killed it.
banshee?
We don't know
Veltar.
that yet.
You
No,
know,
it was Veltar, wasn't it?
Well, Veltar lured it there.
There's a-
Velta lured the queen in
Lured her
there,
there.
and she
Yeah.
So
died.
he's
I
protect-
think
So he's
No, no, we
not
can't-
the one that killed her, because he sent her in, and the flower's
yeah, but
didn't
still
go
didn't you
with
there.
say
her.
she died like thousands of years ago?
She did die thousands of years ago. He
Yeah.
was there for it, but the
Yeah,
flower's
'cause
still
he's even
there.
older, supposedly.
Yeah.
So if the flower's still there,
So he
He
doesn't,
doesn't
need
have
it or
it.
want it.
Yeah, but that means someone else might
That ma-
take it.
so
We
how,
did kind of just give the story to the nearest storyteller.
It's more.
Yeah.
But
what-
Mashy threatened him.
Yeah, but
That's
I
true.
didn't do that well.
It's more
I
true.
didn't look
Yeah.
to see if he was actually scared of me or not.
But it's more, and this is my other question. What do you think happened to the Elven Queen? Do you think that Velta killed her in the cave? Because you found her body in the cave.
You want to hear my
Hmm.
super amazing theory?
Go.
Oh my god.
Or should we go back to the other question of loose ends?
No, I think this is good. This is a good.
I feel
this
like
this
is
is a
follow-on,
good
I
little-
think.
Super
I'm ready
amazing
for this, I'm
theory
ready for
from
this.
Mashi. You ready? Yeah. I have no idea. She's
You piece of shit.
Got him.
I can't stand you. Ah! God damn it,
I'm not done,
Mashy.
please. No idea. She swam to get to the flower and she drowned from exhaustion. Done. That's
Oh.
my theory.
Oh, this is the joke theory, isn't it? This is the one you're
I
telling
don't
me.
know what
you're
you're talking about. That's completely legit.
gonna- I
Like
thought
15
it was
feet.
Veltar.
Well,
Yeah,
so
it's like doggy paddling. just
so
like-
Velta sent her in to get the flower. So Velta
Okay.
Yeah.
didn't get the flower.
Yes.
That's the thing that you guys seen of Wart Pass.
Oh
is
wait, maybe Veltar can't go in there.
Velta
He
didn't
can't
get
Otherwise,
the
why
flower.
would he have sent her in?
So something else killed the queen. And you
Yep.
guys don't know what that was. So you walked blissfully
Will-o-wisp?
into
Yeah.
this area. And then
Lights.
Yeah.
I don't know.
My
Leo,
my
it's your
theory
turn.
was that there's something else in the Moonweaver Grove that's contaminated.
Yeah, you did
like,
say there's a
hence-
bunch of stuff.
Like the wisps. I feel like wisps shouldn't be in that area in the first place. To be honest.
Yeah.
First of all.
no, and there is more story for that.
Yeah.
Can we go
Exactly.
back?
And
How long did
But
it
why would
take
our
to get
characters
there?
go? Why would our characters go back though?
I don't know. That's the thing. Day
Mm,
misses
Like, we
home,
fe-
so she
like-
goes back.
As a party, there's new stuff going on for us
Yeah.
in Reconthorn. Why would we ever consider going back? As far as we know, like unless one of us has a fucking like epiphany in a dream or something, I don't know why any of us would decide to go back
Yeah,
in,
Hey.
in the story.
exactly.
No,
the
no,
mineral
no.
smile shows
Story
me
solution.
someone taking the flower. I'm like,
Maybe.
oh
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
Like,
Oh,
No, no, no.
that's a
you
good
left your
call.
refrigerator running in the movie, bro.
Guys, it's fine. Day's stressed out in Reconthorn and she sprints back to the Moonweaver Grove for comfort. Simple solution.
And takes the
Oh
flower
god.
by
And
yourself.
takes the flower this
Oh.
time.
Only a
Good.
little bit of metagaming involved.
No, no,
Just
no,
a
no,
small
no. I
bit.
don't know what
It's
you're
a treat.
talking about. No metagaming at all.
Wasn't there something
Yeah.
watching us when we were like sleeping?
I thought that was the
and
dragon.
patrolling?
I thought that was a dragon.
I thought the dragon went into the
Dragon
cave.
was in his little
Yeah.
hole.
Yeah.
Uh,
He was
Mm.
sleeping.
He was sleeping.
I hate this.
Okay, then my second answer is the will-o-wisps. I thought that was the will-o-wisp doing
Yeah,
the
I
sort
thought
of
it was
like
the will-o-wisp.
walk around.
Yeah, it was the wisp that was floating around. It was one of the wisps. It was trying to lure you back
Okay.
to the other room.
I see.
It's something in the other room then, isn't it? Clearly. Maybe not clearly.
And correct me if I'm wrong. The point of wisps is to lure you to danger so that you die. It's not
Yeah.
necessarily to kill someone, is it? So it had to be. She had to be lured to something. Not
Oh, wait,
necessarily
yeah.
the wisp.
Why did it want us back in the other room?
Because there's something evil there.
Fuck!
The thing is, Kaya went down into that like trench area to get Osgrath.
Yeah.
We didn't explore that area, did we? She went straight back up with Osgrath. Once
She
she's
couldn't
gone.
reach
Did
the
she?
area. He had to like she was out of rope, and so she
Oh,
was
he
kind
had
of
to
like
climb up
leaning
to her.
Climb
down,
up.
and he like was able to climb up, and with some successful rolls, you held on, and then she climbed up because it was like a
Yeah.
steep incline. It wasn't just like a
Yeah.
walk down a hill kind of thing.
Yeah.
So he was leaning against a wall, you know that. But if there was anything else down there, you don't.
I mean, maybe I'm overthinking this, but why was he down there?
I assumed
If
it
the
was
door-
the wisps, right?
If the door was not down there, why was he down there?
Wasn't he trying to hide from the banshee? Because
Because it was
like,
looking for him.
patrolling.
That's
Yeah.
what he
Banshees
was.
can feel for you.
Hmm.
Yeah, they know you're in the area.
Like-
Because then Aros fucked up. Because to be fair, come on guys, it's the beginning of the session. I was a bit cold foot. No one else was saying anything, so I had to just jump in and be like, "We're looking for our friend," or "We're trying to save our friend," and then realized immediately, "Oh, she's trying to kill him." Never mind. Bad idea.
Yeah.
Well,
I was just like, what sounds like a really noble thing that would like
that
make
was
the
that was
Banshee not want
pretty
to kill
funny.
us.
It was like, how do we get the banshee to stop? Oh wait, that's the thing. But she's trying to do shit.
Yeah, we should have said we're trying to kill Osgrath. We're trying to help you. We're trying to find him too.
We plan
don't
to
worry.
burn this place to the ground. Rid it of all life. Anyway, we're just gonna leave before we do that. All right.
No pressure.
Yeah.
A cool theory in chat is I think the flower might be only. Sorry, I think the flower might be the only flower in the grove. I think that's what they're trying to say.
Oh, no, I think they're saying the flower might only be a flower in the grove, so it might become something else if it leaves the grove.
Oh right.
Oh, that's cool.
It did
Because
already.
they said be only a flower.
It did have some sort of magical property there because it didn't have any soil. It was just roots
Yeah.
wrapped around
That's good.
a rock.
And the water was illusion.
It had
Mm.
illusionary magic.
Yeah.
I mean, but the water was illusion.
That's what allowed us to see shit in the water, like the
Yeah.
raven and stuff.
Sorry, Leo, you were going to say something.
Yeah,
and I
no, see,
interrupted.
I remember me and you, Mashi, talking about
Oh,
this out of session about flowers, and when Kaya picked the flowers, they
I was
obviously have a
angry.
natural glow when they're presumably in the soil, but what would happen to them when they were not?
Oh
Because,
no, see, Sorry.
and I know this has nothing to do with the rose, but just theorizing
They continue
the
to
plants and stuff.
they continue to glow for a bit. They become like any other flower. They will die over time.
Yeah.
So once
Yeah.
they're
I think
pulled
they're
out,
just
they'll
kind of glow in the dark, sort of. So if she took them outside, they'd lose their like bioluminescence and stuff.
Yeah,
Because you can't really see glow in the dark shit when you're outside.
They're like Nirnroot in the Elder Scrolls. Like
I
they
totally
glow while
know
they're
what that
planted, and then you pick them and they stop glowing. Like in Skyrim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
I was sort of thinking. Kaya picking my flowers.
Well, they were glowing while she had them.
Yeah.
They weren't like an instant. They've turned off.
Mm.
So
My kind of theory was that somehow she got cursed at some point, because if she was just normal, she would have turned into a wisp if the wisps were there. So whether or not
Yeah.
the flower cursed her or something in that area.
Oh
did
my
that.
god.
Who knows?
I hope not. We
V,
touched
you
it.
just created a new theory in my head by saying that. What if she was
Guys,
already
stop.
cursed and Veltar was like some like magician dude that she was like, she's a queen, right? So she has access to like a lot of resources. She was like, Veltar is a renowned like, I don't know, magic guy, and he knows how to cure my curse, and he told me that the silver flower can cure me if I go in that cave and get it. Maybe that was
Ooh.
it. Maybe that's a trick. I don't know.
Okay, this
Conflicts
is all
with the
cool and all,
story
but
you were
don't
told,
tell him
but yeah.
anything. He's gonna fucking write it down.
Yeah, it was just like a spur of the moment. V said that. I'm like, ooh.
It is
Ooh.
conflicting to the story that you've heard, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's not true.
We were just told it's the most beautiful flower, and she wanted it, and he told her where it was.
She was a beautiful woman that thought she was
Yeah.
entitled to the most beautiful flower
Rude
in the
bitch.
kingdom.
How dare she?
Etch.
So,
Fucking bitch.
there was you guys walked into a grove, and you seem to bypass something that's killed her, whether or not
Hey.
you
Yep.
aware of it or have a theory for it, but and whether or not any of you have been correct.
This
But
makes
then
me
you
so
also
angry.
just walk straight back out, so
Yep, and
it's
we're like,
kind of
done.
like
And done.
it's there. You were able to walk in and out and touch a flower and everything, all the things that the queen was unable to do. So
Yeah.
it's like,
True.
what's different?
I was actually surprised that nothing happened to V when he picked the rose. I expected him to something happen.
Die.
Nothing did.
Yeah.
It kind of swayed,
did
didn't
it?
it? That was something I remember.
It faced
swayed towards
the
people.
closest person, yes.
Yeah.
I was just admiring the pretty flower.
I think, yeah, in my head, I was just like, this is a very, like, treasured, holy place, and it would
Yeah.
be, like, it would
Yeah.
be bad to play with it and mess around with it, so best to leave it be, and now I'm regretting all of that.
Yeah.
No, I think I think it's pretty sound why you left the flower behind. I think that was all.
Yeah. But then, like,
the
everyone was
decision you
like,
made
oh
was
no,
good.
it's now unsafe.
It was
Yeah.
just funny, but you guys were like, no, we should leave this behind, and you walked out and told someone how to get there, and then we're like, wait a second.
Hold up, halfway through.
We weren't
Through the
thinking.
conversation, I was like, wait, no, we didn't see anything.
It was halfway through that sentence where you're like, oh yeah, we just mashed the rocks together and the door stayed
Oh.
shut.
Oh. It just stayed shut, nothing opened. Oh my god, that's so weird.
We definitely didn't leave the door open or anything.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, this
no,
pseudo-dragon,
we
don't know where
broke
that
the
came from.
entrance.
We never even
Sorry,
went
we
into the
smashed the
grove.
rocks. We can never get in now.
We actually smashed the red one into the silver one, and now they're just
And
broken.
the silver one has a
We just felt like
Oh, no.
breaking shit. What are you gonna do? Sue me? Fuck you.
Bruh.
I actually know exactly what killed the queen.
Oh?
Oh. Oh, wait.
It was the dragon.
Yeah, I was waiting for it.
There it is.
It was
Yeah.
Ayenda the Eternal Flame.
Yeah.
Whatever.
We brought the enemy
It's got
with
what my
us.
nose.
Yep.
Gabby.
Okay.
I'm curious, actually.
dark side
Pseudo
coming
dragon lifespan. What?
The pseudo dragon is the big bad evil guy.
Oh my god, no.
Yeah, but we're friends, so it's fine.
Lifespan.
We get to the end and it just morphs into an actual full-sized ancient dragon, and we're like,
Dun, dun, dun.
oh, hello.
So
This is why
they,
you guys have to be nice to it.
they finish maturing at age
Yeah.
5 and can live for 160 years.
Oh
Damn,
my
that's
god.
pretty good.
Aw.
Oh, if it was born like 160 years ago, it's dead.
Wow.
I'm sorry, my words failed me. 'cause I was
Bilbo
about to
Baggins
say,
like walking elderly out, just being like, I think I'm ready for another adventure.
I must be going now.
Gets on the last ship. Right.
Wait, but so back to loose ends if I can.
Mhm.
Am I allowed?
Yeah, of course.
So there was the flower. There's also, for me personally, what the fuck the ring I put on now does.
Oh my
Because
god.
it's now
Yeah.
on me.
Yep.
And also when my disguise self ended, because you know how you mentioned it might have ended like when we were talking to Baron Taxon instead of just in the library. So now that's kind of got me on edge, like when the fuck has it ended? Like where am I safe
I
to go
feel
in?
like we would have noticed.
Yeah, you would have
Yeah.
noticed. I was really
Yeah,
fucking
for
with you. It
sure.
happened in the library. You walked into the
Yeah.
library.
Yeah.
It was still weird how it
I'm just fucking
happened.
with you.
Like that was still kind of.
There's
Must just be
plenty
a
of
protective measure.
there's plenty of like anti-magic field kind of shit.
Well,
in
how
D&D,
dare they?
so-
That's just rude.
The
Why
the
can a
ring
gal
didn't
not
do
just
what I
fight
expected
herself?
it to do.
Oh, yeah,
Which
the
was-
ring.
I was expecting it to be the same ring as what my character put on in. I think it was the other.
It was Riven.
It was Riven, yeah,
Private.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the other world, but it didn't do the same thing. So
I don't know what it's gonna do, but it's on me
Did
now.
we confirm that it was necrotic?
No, it wasn't.
We
It was
confirmed
it wasn't.
Because if it wasn't
conjuration.
It's
Yeah.
It was
conjuration.
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 Yeah,
Sorry, I
I
couldn't think of
assumed
the
it was
word.
necrotic, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wait, what? No.
Yeah, my B.
Mobbo.
I was like, wait, what? No, frantically flipped
It's
through
it's
notebook
it's not my
trying to
own
find the
item.
truth.
That's the thing. It's an item created
Oh.
I don't want to tell them because I don't want you looking it up. I don't
Yeah,
want to
tell
say
me,
where
tell
it
me
is.
now,
okay.
quick,
So,
Google
alright.
open.
When the day comes that you do an identify spell or something to figure out the fuck you just put on your hand, then I'll tell you where it's from.
Wait, identify spell?
Yeah, there's spells. There's spells that
Mhm.
it's typically wizards. They use a pearl and they can just figure out what shit is.
AV.
It's
Hey,
Get
what?
your
Tell a
nearest
favor.
pearl at your nearest stall.
What if I don't want
AV,
to?
I need another favor.
True.
He's
Ring
gonna
doesn't
do
have
it
to
and
do
then
that.
not tell you.
typically everyone like with your token wizard of the group, you give your magical loot and shit to them, and then they're just like, all right, this is
I
what I'm
don't
doing
have
for
a
the rest of the
pearl.
night, and then they just identify it and then go, oh, this is
Oh,
something
okay.
this is something for the ranger, this is something for a rogue, this is
Yeah.
best
Oh.
for a cleric kind of deal.
It
So
sounds like you can
okay.
cast it as a ritual, I'm guessing.
yeah.
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 What you do
have
not
the
taxes,
identify
Aurelian.
spell?
No, I feel like it's a lot like further on.
No,
Fourth or
you
fifth
can
level?
get it at level 2.
it's first level.
Oh, it's the first
Oh.
level. Oh.
It's a
Yeah.
basic spell.
just
You
need
just
a
haven't
pearl.
got it. So you just he
Yeah,
also
fair
needs to learn how to do it. That's the other thing. Like his
Yeah,
Oh.
wizards work
We can
differently to
revisit
clerics.
that
Yep.
magic shop. See if they
Yeah.
have it.
Oh yeah.
Gotta find
you've
some
got 200
gold.
gold now, so you
Got the money.
potentially could.
I don't even remember what the ring looked like. I know it was metal. I just
It's green with 2 jewels on either side of a face,
So
oh
cool.
okay, yeah. I vaguely
and
remember you
one of
saying
them
that.
is illuminated, the other one is not.
Got it. Spooky.
Mm.
I like it.
Okay.
I want it. Give it to me
it-
instead.
Yeah, I
mean, you can try and
cannot
take it off of me.
wait. I'm waiting for you to say a specific thing that will come up, kind of deal. It won't trigger the ring or anything. It's just more like
Oh, okay.
I will finally be able to kind of describe what's
Wait.
going on.
Well, no, I'm so
Is it-
scared because like I don't know. Like, what if I never say it?
Can I just ask if it's the same thing that happened
it's
to my
100%.
ring?
Yeah, 100%. It's the
Okay.
exact same.
Okay.
Can I just ask, am I gonna die?
I'm just here
Am
like,
I
what the
gonna
fuck is going on? I have no idea what's happening right now.
I don't know. I think that was like the last thing my character ever did, but purely because we stopped playing.
Yeah, not because his character died.
No.
Just like it was just kind of like, you know what? His character just went, "Fuck it, I'm putting the ring on." Like, and then it was like,
Yep.
okay, and then he immediately like found out further information about it because he did certain things. So it was like, you just haven't done the other things to kind of give you more information about it. So.
I'm just like, like there's stuff we can do to it, I suppose, while you're wearing it.
Yeah.
What, color it red? Like, what do you mean? Like, get a pen out?
Well, like, I was imagining try and break it.
Why would you though?
I don't know, because we're talking
Yeah.
about doing stuff to it. And I'm just thinking, like, what stuff to do to it. Like, break it, superheat it.
The first
like,
thing you should do is figure out what it does. That's
Yeah.
which,
Yeah.
which
Things
don't know
like
what it does.
Yeah, like-
Yeah.
I don't know what it does at all.
it never came up in the last one.
Aw.
Yeah.
What the
Never did.
actual ring does. It was just more. There's certain properties about it that
Yeah.
came up. So,
I'm so stressed.
anyone else got a loose end?
Fuck you.
nice
I may have
segue.
I may have missed a little bit because I had to go get a delivery. Yay.
Yay.
I'm really interested in the entirety of the Veltar story and that arc and where that goes. And like whether it's connected or not to the Crimson Root.
Yeah, that's a good call.
And the Crimson Root arc, like how far does that go? Like I
That's the thing
just
I was gonna say.
I just don't know. And it's exciting and I like it.
Like, how widespread is it? Like,
Yeah,
are we in
exactly,
the
like-
thick of it?
Is
Well-
this like a regional thing, or is it like a continental thing, or is it like a global thing?
Or has it just started?
The thing, like the teleportation circles being there, made me think it's a lot more widespread than I originally thought.
Hmm.
But I don't know if that was just like a easy transport between the two, or if that was like a hey, there's fuck tons of these things.
Yeah,
kind of
there's like a
deal.
larger network. of
Yeah.
Fucking. I think the fact that we found that dead one in the previous session wrapped around a statue of Bavode is that's big. And like it was very old, like it had been there for a long time. That seems to suggest this isn't new.
Yeah.
You haven't figured out how long the root's been there for. You just figured out that you just saw that it was dead.
Just that it's old,
Just-
but this area is like quite old as well.
The area is old, yes, but you haven't done
but
any
There was also not much
investigation
in the way.
further.
There wasn't much in the way of footsteps leading in and out, as far as I recall, from what I watched.
Hard to leave footsteps when you're a fucking shadow.
Yeah,
That's the-
kind of weaves
that's the
through.
thing about the shadow demon is he's just kind of there.
Yeah.
He doesn't like Bavode. Fucking clawing at all the like words and everything.
If he's the one doing it, that's the thing. You
Yeah,
guys.
yeah. You just assume because he's the big scary in the room.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of questions.
Yeah, you guys have a lot of questions. One day, maybe you'll get answers.
So many of them. Like, for example, like, where did the Jackawares originate from? Like, where do they come from? What's their like mission? Have they just taken over Jor by now? Like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
because we left there now. How is
We just
Jor
left
doing? I
them.
wonder.
Yeah.
Quickly, Poe put in that she's interested in the Saiyan, Jen Silta. Who, like, where is that person, and who was that? Was it a Jackaware? And if not,
Yeah.
who were they? Kind of deal. Because you never spoke to any of the Jackawares, so you never actually got information like who is your leader kind of deal. You never got that chance for interrogation, so you didn't get any information about it. And she's conspiring, but oh no, we lost someone.
We just dropped out.
Troy.
No.
No.
Oh no.
He's back.
He's
You're right.
back.
He's back. You're right.
He's
We're
back.
good.
Oh, that was quick.
Yeah.
Apologies. That's the joys of having to log into an internet service that times you out every 6 hours.
True.
Oh,
Oh
good.
god.
Yeah, and Poe says like she feels like the Crimson Roots are connected to the government somehow. I don't know how. She hasn't put any theory for that, but she says I feel like it's connected to the government.
I have a theory that we were kind of discussing prior to this call starting, and it's very much not grounded in any evidence, but just if we were saying how convenient it was, right? The Taxon arrived when he did to Jor and everything. But I was thinking the other way around. I was thinking he's being brought to Jor on purpose to like distract him or to like fuck up Reconthorn in some fashion, and that this is potentially some kind of this is somehow connected to the Council of Dane. No, that's not what it's called, is it? What's Dion.
Yeah. Didn't know what you were trying to
maybe,
say.
yeah, I was like, it's a D sound or something. And that maybe Dynavore is like orchestrating this in order to distract the others. And I mean, the woman was killed, the one that went to the castle. Just all of the other like nominees are being distracted or killed.
True.
And maybe that's the political connection there. I don't know.
The lady that got killed, Lady Eleanor, she wasn't a nominee though. She was on the council.
Oh, she wasn't a nominee. Oh, she was already on it. Wow.
Oh, she was the one who made the free gap on the council, wasn't she?
Yeah, she got killed, and now they need to fill in that spot, which is why Tuxon's like, I want it. I don't want Baron Dynavore getting it. So that's the motivation, is this person got killed. And now it's not just the two of them. All of the barons are up for a potential promotion, essentially.
Yeah.
I wonder if you'd find the Crimson Root at Feldor Castle.
At Feldor Castle, maybe. You're gonna have to
Maybe.
go there, but you guys have no idea what the fuck it is.
Hey, Mineral Smile, bro. Where the fuck was that castle you took me to?
Up, man.
Like, can you just draw a map?
Stop giving me these visions and draw me a map. Something I can use.
He's the Feldmore Castle's not on the map of Triathlon that I've done, so you guys don't know where it is. However, Lady Airwood would know some information about it, but not enough that the rest of you would be finding out. That's more stuff I think I'll leave in game.
Every time I think of Feldmore, I think of this like Frankenstein-ass castle with like lightning everywhere and storm clouds.
That's pretty accurate.
Terrifying castle.
Except it's got a big red glass bear on the doors.
A bear.
Oh,
that's what Name was looking through. He couldn't tell any uniform or anything because the glass was stained red, so he didn't know what he was looking at. He just saw figures walking through it. And yeah, the door is made out of two bears, kind of like fighting essentially.
I know.
On either side.
I'm quite sure he said this before he's had the vision, but that made me think back to when he was like, when I was the bear, he was like, I prefer you more in this form. Maybe it's because Voldemort got some bears on the door.
I like that.
He said that when you were Furbolg, though.
That was when you were Furbolg, not when you were a bear.
I thought he was because it was when we were fighting with Barlow.
No, it was when
Barlow said something about a bear.
Yeah, but when Name said it was, I prefer you in this form, or you look better in this form. I know that was in the Grove.
Yeah.
You weren't a bear,
I swear they said something similar, though, when I was a bear, because I remember him and Barlow talking about it.
Barlow sort of said, I like her better when she's like this, because you were...
And he agreed.
Yeah, and he agreed. Yeah. Okay, now
That's what I was talking about.
Okay. Yeah.
I knew there was at some point they'd said it.
Yeah, right. No. I'm with it now. I'm with it.
That's absolutely true, and I absolutely did say that.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, what's everyone's theory? So, Jor...
Can I just randomly
Go.
pick up on a random loose end that just as a thought, more of like a personal one than anything, is this whole husband situation for me and what to do about it. I think I'm so conflicted, like as a person and probably as a character, what to do about it, because essentially I suppose what Azaria would want is freedom, but really I've been thinking a lot about how all I'm doing is trading one for another and forming some kind of deal with another, and that doesn't actually lead to any kind of freedom.
Yeah. And you're essentially told, like, you can't just stay here. Like, he's gonna find you if you stay here. So
Yeah.
you're gonna have to like do what you're doing and then move on. But yeah, your character is kind of like, but what am I moving on to? Like, what's the next thing? I'm just gonna be hiding again in the next place. So there is a bit of conflict there. Yeah, I don't know when we're gonna tie more of that in. I'll all of the backstories that kind of have been not really brought up, and my chat's bringing it up too, where they want to know more about Virillion's storyline, because we know fuck all about Virillion in game.
Yeah. We know he's from Feldorn.
Yeah, it's more like I've just got to have the opportunity that works to kind of bring it in.
Yeah.
Like, Virillion's backstory wouldn't make any sense in Jaw. Like, I wouldn't have been able to just like, here you go. It makes more sense for, you know, the clerics to have visions from their deities. You know, like, that makes a bit more sense. And then a government official talking to Zarya because she was married to one. You know, that kind of shit. And then passing by a holy site worked for day, but Kaya and Virillion, like, there hasn't really been that kick. And Kaya's now at a point where she's like, also, my dad is potentially going to be the next Saiyan of the western side of Reconthorn. Like, I'm just, so it's just like, oh shit, okay, so we're getting into Kaya's story now. So Virillion would be like the next one to bring in, but it's got to be at an appropriate time. I can't just drop it. So
just like, yeet, here's some info.
yeah, but it's a coming. I've written how it's gonna happen. Like, it's there.
Ooh.
Like, it's just kind of like
hell yeah.
Macy's keen. She's
where jackals are keen.
It's just kind of like you guys gotta stumble across it. So until then, like, it just kind of sits there. So cool. But yeah, so Zor appears to be safe. Except for that Jackaware that's in the but the mystery surrounding it haven't been confirmed. What's everyone's theory for what actually happened there?
You want to hear my big
You might not have one, and that's fine to not have a theory, but it's more.
No. I've got a theory. I got one.
What's your theory?
Okay. The theory is the big bad evil peoples wanted plant food for the thing, so went there because that place is like in between the two. Because you said how they were arguing on like whose territory it was or something. So like my theory is they went there because it's just an easy place because no one claimed it essentially, and they're like, yep, food for plant. Done. Theory over. Great theory, I know. Everyone's shocked by silence.
That's a good shout.
It's pretty realistic, really.
Yeah.
I know. It's not as good as my other theory. I know, guys.
And that's the thing about the world building aspect that I've kind of said around this campaign is there is a lot of who's taking over the empire at the moment that you guys are all you're familiar with because you're living in there, and Day, even on her travels, is familiar with it because
I've been out for a few months. I know a bit.
The western and the eastern sides of the empire are getting frustrated with each other, so it's everyone in the middle is copying it, kind of deal. So you might not understand why, but that frustration's there. But the political tension is at a boiling point in the empire at the moment. So it's a pretty good shout. They're right in the middle and being forgotten about. At least that's what from all the townsfolk. Like, you understand that you were lied to from the Seon, but what makes it such a believable lie is that all the townsfolk were willing to accept it because that's how they actually feel. So yeah.
That's my theory.
Good work, Mashi.
Thanks. I tried my best, Dad.
This one stopped me, so I didn't really have anything for this one.
This is definitely the toughest one for me. I think maybe like the trading aspect could come into play since it's like the one major port before Reconthorn, right?
It's not really It's not really a trading port though. It's just more like
Like
it's
a
more
stop along the way.
ships just stop there to do a small bit of trade, but it's
Dock
more
up.
so they can sleep on a bed that isn't rocking
Okay.
kind of deal. So
Yeah.
it's not
And
that
get
it's
like
like
more
a,
equipment and shit.
yeah.
Okay.
It's more just like it happens to work. It's not a major spot. Like I think there was in total like 100 people living in Jor. Like it's tiny.
Yeah.
Then, yeah, similar to Mashi, it just seems like a good testing ground. And the fact that they
Wow,
started in
yeah.
Jorvan as well, even smaller, lends credence to that theory.
Mm.
And they
Yeah,
they
I
started in Jorvan, moved to Jor, and then reconfirmed. They're just testing higher and higher population groups.
Well, I don't know, but like the Reconthorn one being dead suggests that it was probably there first.
Yeah,
Maybe.
because it's completed in terms of growing. Right.
Well, that's the one we found.
Not necessarily
exactly,
completed.
others.
It's more it starved.
Wasn't
Whether or not it was
dead.
left or whether or not, yeah, like they could have stopped feeding it or whatever was
That's
keeping it
Yeah.
alive was defeated.
What? This is just. I'm sorry. This is apart from the Jor. What happened there? Theory thinking, but the Crimson Root being in a Temple of Bavode, being old, is kind of concerning. Like how involved, because it's from like we don't know how long it's been there, right?
No.
And it would be concerning if Bavode or the temple was somehow connected to it in a
Oh.
non-confrontational way.
Yeah, what if they're like somehow helping it by feeding it? No, don't sacrilege
I feel
Bavode.
like the statues being smashed and
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
face kind of
Mm.
says no to that theory.
I'm just thinking, how did it get there? Do you know what I mean?
How to get there is a different question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where was it again? Was it underground in the big long bit?
Yeah, it's deep and
Yeah.
into catacombs, and
Yeah,
unfortunately,
it was
like
in the really old part.
what kind of sucked was we were trying to wrap up the session, so I didn't actually get to describe the catacombs properly, and we'll
Yeah.
do it in retcon really, but
When we leave.
But if you go the same way, you've sealed yourselves in.
If
Oh,
we
wait, yeah.
survive this fight,
Yeah.
there's so
Thought
many
that the door
ifs.
shut behind us.
Yep.
Oh no!
Oh,
The overlay's broken. It's fine. It's coming back.
But potatoes is fine.
yeah, Poe's still perfect.
This is the most steady Poe's ever been.
Yeah.
I know, right?
It does.
She's just meditating for this whole session. That's how that works.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Poe's saying that she thinks that they are connected, Bavode and
No,
right.
not
Jeez,
Bavode.
okay.
Bavode, not my
Bavode
baby.
and the Crimson Root, which from the journal entry, you guys know that it seems to just be something that Quanbeck just has happened. And they haven't determined why he
I feel like
chooses
it's-
places. But that's just what's in the journal entry.
I feel like it's probably more linked to the government, personally.
Yeah.
But I can't give any reason as to why.
I love
Like,
it. There's...
Yeah, it's just intuition, but intuition,
Yeah.
you know, assumptions make an ass out of you and me.
I fucking
Exactly.
love that this campaign that I've built and world building and this adventure is boiling down to fucking like tinfoil conspiracy theories against the
Fuck
government.
the
I
government.
fucking like
The Crimson Root was an inside job. I'm telling you.
It's a proxy war.
the cracking
It's a
of the
proxy war.
statue was done by the Baron.
Yeah.
Wake up, sheeple.
Fun.
I'm gonna have my my new website, Beacon Thorn Wars.
.com.
Eros' tinfoil fucking theories.
We'll do the gnome gif, but he'll be wearing a tinfoil hat when he jumps across the screen next time.
You've been known.
Yes, please.
Quanbeck is a Terran god, isn't he?
Yes, yeah, he was
So
a
he
student
studied
of
under
Harajek,
Jorvik. Oh, Harajek, sorry, wrong one.
god of
And
he studied
we-
under the Trinity god of decay.
Yeah. And we assume that, like, he's, like, the big bad evil guy has something to do with the roots, don't we? We don't have any, like, specific evidence pointing to that, do we?
No. Like,
Okay.
as far as you're concerned, he's a god that's, like, in prison, essentially. Like,
Yeah, he's a big bad boy.
Whether or not he's the big bad evil guy, probably not, because the gods haven't had interference with the material plane for some time outside of some random visits and granting champions powers. So if your theory is him coming to orchestrate something, it doesn't seem plausible at this stage in history, at least.
I was gonna say maybe someone under him, like, studied under Bevode, because Bevode is the nature lady, so she'd have something possibly to do with roots, seeing as they're, like, some sort of plant, like, thing. So maybe someone studied under them, and that's why.
It's common knowledge that, yeah, there were plenty of traitors to all three of the Trinity gods. The construct pretty much was, you know, they went Avengers Civil War kind of deal, where they just all were like, we have to pick a side, and I think I'm picking the winning one. So they would, there's direct students of Avode went and joined with Quanbeck. So
maybe that's why it's in the temple, or like in the underground part of the temple, because someone.
You also heard of a goddess that followed Quanbeck around. It's in the journal entries you guys found. The shadows seem to be getting spawned by a Terran goddess, not Quanbeck. You guys found that when you were under the church.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, let me just open up.
Totally.
I have it written down somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, yeah, you guys were given that there were other gods involved in this kind of shit. 100%.
Yeah, I know there were other, but, like, that's just one of my, like, that's probably why they're, like, in the vote. I don't think the vote's, like, bad, or, like, I really hope that the people of the temple aren't, like, connected to it. I just think that maybe it's in the catacomb. Maybe the temple was built after.
It's Hashan.
There you go.
Ah.
There it is.
Writing that down immediately.
Yeah.
Love that.
Wait, where's my pen gone?
How's that spelled,
what?
Lulu?
I have no idea.
I would
guess.
assume
I'll spell like Hassan
H-A-R-S-H-A-N.
Piker, but with a H, yeah. Hashan.
Hashan. I've lost my pen.
Pretty sure it's in the Discord chat, actually.
Yeah, I'm sure it's there.
I'm pretty sure it's in there.
I think it actually is.
Because it was one of those journal entries that I think I sent to V first, and whether or not he shared it with the group was different. And then when it was shared with the group, it got posted in. So
I control I.
I think it's there.
Well, it would have been, because that would have been the way to share it. And if Troy has it written down, then he knows about it, which means that it was shared. So
it's there somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, so Hashan's the one causing the shadows.
Hashan.
Hashan.
But yeah.
How do you spell it?
I don't have the note in front of me.
I agree with Potatoes. The government is using the temple/religion. It's all back to the government again, guys.
Yeah.
Always the government.
It's always the government.
Get the government.
Well, the other question was one that we kind of already talked about, which is, what do you think happened to the Elven Queen? How did she die?
Hey, you already had my super amazing theory. It's okay.
Yeah, so, but we've already talked about it, so that's fine. Unless anyone's got anything to add, the only other kind of section that I had for this was if you guys have any questions for me as a DM from a world building aspect, like maybe how does something work in the world kind of deal.
Question.
Yep.
Why won't you tell me what the ring does?
Because you haven't learnt what the ring does.
Can I have a hint?
Why haven't you told me, please?
Maybe you should investigate it more.
Yeah, man.
That's my hint.
Turn, they just like
use your investigating powers.
Jay's just gonna be like, why the fuck did I put this on?
Sure.
I've got a question. Is there any like interactions between the different continents? Because obviously, there's the
Yes,
Raven
there
Empire.
is a
Yeah.
lot, and one of
Hello.
your party is from
Hello.
that one of
Yeah.
those other continents.
Oh wait, yeah.
You don't know.
And again, general knowledge, the eastern coast of Trithorn wasn't always under the control. In fact, it still isn't, except for one section of the Bavarian Empire. They didn't even own that eastern section, but they have. It was completely owned by the Molson, which the Molson are a mob-like family that just own territory, and they operate entirely through mercenaries. So it's more like they've got all the fucking money, and they just pay people to do what they want. And it got to the point where all of the land on the western side of Trenwyll was just under their control. They had people doing their bidding, and so if people wanted to live there, they started having to they kind of were forced to be involved with this mob-like protection. And if they ever tried to go behind their back, it was very mafia style. This is an awful nice store you got here. It would be a shame if all of your shit got broken. You're gonna have to start giving us a higher cut of your trade, kind of deal. And it's so big that it just captured the entire western side, and then they wanted to have control of the channel between Trithorn and Trenwyll. So they started sending people over to the eastern coast. And then Bavarian Empire, during the Second Era, were like, we want boats in the channel as well, because it's just an easy way to get north to Torquin. You can get to Trenwyll with all the other factions that happen to live there that weren't the Molson. We want to trade there too. And it led to several skirmishes just breaking out, to the point where Bavarian was able to pretty much take over the middle section, which is why on the map there's the North Molson and the South Molson. But they were forced to withdraw because Torquin started to cross the Valley of Glass. So from there, they had to withdraw, and now it's kind of like they're neighbors and they tolerate each other. The Molson tax the hell out of the Bavarian, and any trade that happens within that channel goes through them, whether or not it's an imperial ship or a independent trader of the Molson. And that's where Name's from. He grew up in the mountains of Trenwyll and fucking was on boats and fucking traded and
Felt out. Wasn't
Yeah.
a good
But
day for it.
But the
It
characters
was not a
still
good day
don't know
for it.
that.
Yeah.
it was not a good day for it one day.
No.
And, Velta was in Trenwyll. And
Yep. Lines up with when I saw him.
that's
Motherfucker.
yeah. So that's the other thing. There is more information about a dwarven kingdom that is even further east. Trenwyll's right in the middle of Trithorn and this other place, which I forget what I renamed it to after Celine Dion.
Oh, what's wrong? You don't want Celine
What a
Solomon?
throwback.
No, I renamed it after you called it Celine Dion. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not doing this. You're not calling it this for my whole campaign. So, but there's two other nations that take over a third continent within Vynreth, and I kind of want more of that to be discovered in game. But there is a lot of communication. Feldorn knows about all these places. Feldorn and the Bavarian they're not quite allies, but they're not enemies either. Torquin hates Bavarian, and they're in North Korea, South Korea, staring at a valley instead of a fence and just being like, you come onto our side and we're going back to war, kind of deal. And then Molson just like, use our channel and you've got to give us a cut. And I think I wrote it as it's either 10 or 15% of trades. I
think it's 10.
Any trade that happens in that channel, you need to give them a cut or they're going to sink your ship. That's essentially the deal. And if you have a store on land, you have to give them a cut or they're going to break all of your stock. And there's no law It's just kind of like, if you don't like someone, you can just pay someone to take them out. It's chaotic as hell. It's not a particularly nice place, but there's a form of society and understanding where everyone's under it, so they're kind of like, this is what we're doing. We just had to learn to live like this. And the positives are more like that festival that you've kind of passed it, where everyone's just kind of like, yeah, fuck it, all right, we're all just here, let's all just give each other shit, because if we trade commercially, we're gonna have like our kneecaps broken. Yeah, it's a nasty place, but it has positives about it, and it is like a beautiful landscape as well.
And that's why people would have noticed that Name was kind of like feeling a bit better when he was in the camp.
Yeah.
Because it was like, hey, I'm used to this thing.
Yeah, he wasn't interested in exploring it either. He just went and fucking sat down. It's just like,
It's like,
whatever.
Oh,
Yeah.
And then he zoned out and he woke up in a castle somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is not as comfortable.
Not that time. But yeah. I just found the notes that I got from you, Farqo. So it in the notes that you sent me, at least, it's got the 10% rule.
Okay.
It also says the dwarves from Solon, but I'm imagining that you probably renamed it due to the.
Yeah, I took that name after the fact. That was like a deliberate recycle. Yeah, that was the name of the Dwarven Kingdom, and then I was like coming up with cooler names of kings and shit, and I'm like, I'll just copy Solon over, and then that's when it popped up in the campaign, not realizing that it was similar to Sullen and Soren. Like,
Soren, yeah.
Like,
Good times.
all right, so now I'm just dropping it all together. It's
Wait, it's similar?
In the notes he sent me, but
yeah, outdated stuff. So, but yeah, any other questions about the world?
not about the world so much as just a general question.
Yeah.
I don't know how much in detail you can go into it, but what's the most surprised you've been at player actions?
Ooh.
That's a good question. That's good.
I like that question.
Yeah, that's good.
I feel like Mashy's got some real corkers.
I'm just stupid, okay?
I'll never forget that first session where immediately Mashy's like, I'm gonna sleep on the deck of the ship. And it just threw me off entirely because I was like, how do I describe the goblin ambush if she can see it happening? Kind of deal. Like, it was
not
more,
an ambush anymore.
It was more like you guys would just wake up to just a rickety ship kind of deal, and you didn't know what was going on. You'd heard shouting, and then you heard swords, and then you were like, shit, we got to get up, and you were gonna see the sails on fire and everything, and then I had to describe it from the start rather than the middle kind of deal. So I'm like,
yeah,
okay, so that was a bit of a curveball. Virillion successfully juggling was definitely not on my list of things that I thought I would be describing.
That was great. That was like the spur of the moment, like, surely there's got to be someone juggling. Just give it a go.
That was so good. And then you throwing it to who'd you throw it to? Was it Azaria? Yeah.
Azaria. It has a high deck, so whatever.
That was easy peasy.
Yeah, and she hadn't been drinking. She went and bought bear statues. So.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute.
So, yeah, she was fun.
I'm so happy I have the bear statue in game.
I'm trying to think of what would actually surprise me, because aside from that, I kind of built the campaign to kind of prepare to be surprised kind of deal. Like, I'm always expecting you to do something that I wasn't in the moment for. The sudden drinking games, they were ones that I wasn't prepared for, and I'm like, yeah, sure, how do we do a drinking game? I guess constitution rolls.
Yeah.
Just like, hey bitch, let's have a drink.
I didn't think Eros, it's not in Eros's backstory or anything, but he was like a fucking party goer, drinker at taverns. It just started happening in sessions, so it was kind of like, okay.
I get
Alright,
the,
alright, well, we're on it.
I get the impression
There-
it's
there's-
less of that and more of a coping mechanism.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he said it
Yeah,
was a
there's
coping
a
mechanism.
smidgen in the backstory that I wrote, Farqo, just before the sort of like, I don't know, how do I even discuss this with you? You know what I mean? Like, but there is like a little bit, with taverns related, but it is as Cthulhu describes, very much like a coping mechanism rather than like I'm a frat boy who loves going to get pies and getting wasted. It's more of a like, this is my vice thing.
And then you find the other friendliest person looking in the tavern, and then get them to share your vice with you.
Exactly. We'll go down this swirly glass together, my friend, and I'm gonna win.
Yeah, Muldog saying in chat, no D&D plans for DMs ever work. The player always throws a lot of twists that forces weird gameplay. And
Yep.
yeah, that's kind of just how
Can
I've
confirm.
I've had to learn it many times of trying and trying again to restart campaigns, because I would always make
Yeah.
one and then immediately I would be like trying to improvise. So now I'm like, I just focused on the world, where there's been sessions we've played where I had zero prep, like I just had none, and I just was like, what are you doing?
Nice.
And then you went and did it, and I'm like, okay, well, this is what the world would be, because I know what my world looks like in my head, so I'm able to quickly just pull up and describe things. I know what the people look like, I know how the government works, I know who you would report it to, and so, you know, the general demographic, you need an NPC, cool, I'll pull up a name generator and I'll, you know, say it in the moment kind of thing, which is where Solon came from.
Boy, did that work well.
I was like, no, yeah,
God
I didn't
damn
actually put any names on these guys. Name generator, yeah, his name is Sol. Shit.
Kids.
Name.
Oh well.
It's like,
we take
quick,
back
oh
seats.
yeah, this is his name. Oh no.
Okay,
Not
this
again.
is very similar to the name that I've used 3 times now.
Definitely didn't
Yeah.
add to the suspiciousness.
Yeah.
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 So it's just kind of
Yeah.
like, I got betrayed hard by that website.
That's
I've also
fine.
got a bunch of like character sheets of NPCs, which a few have made on stream, where it's just kind of like, if you're going to talk to someone, I just have a character ready.
Oh, I
kinda deal.
remember that.
So
I remember you making some.
yeah, I've made like 3 or 4 on stream, but I've got so many
Yeah.
D&D Beyond. Like, if I didn't pay for that unlimited amount, I don't know what I would do. Be back
Oh,
to
wait,
just
yeah,
pen
'cause
and
there's a
paper kind of
limit.
deal. There's a limit
Yeah.
if you're a
Yeah.
free
It's
user,
max 6.
but
Yep.
I'm a paid user, so
Wow.
I get
Fancy.
unlimited, which currently hits out like there's tens and tens of them. I think I'm well into double digits of characters that are just like, they're waiting for you guys to go find them somewhere. So
He's excited.
but then other ones, like, they're not worth being one of those characters, so it's kind of like, I talk to a man on the street, I'm not going to pull up Frisha Vakadu, the gnome paladin.
Frisha Vakadu.
Wow.
Del
poor
Taco.
them.
Yeah, that's the name I made
Is
on
that a
stream.
restaurant in Rickenthorn?
No, that's his name. I've made him on stream. His name is Frisha.
Oh no, I meant
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Virality was like, go to Del
He's
Taco. I was
real.
like, is that a restaurant in
Oh,
Rickenthorn
right,
we
right.
can visit? Go to Del Taco.
Oh yeah, there are delis around.
There is
Rickenthorn
delis. We
should
have
go
There is
to.
confirmed
delis.
that there's delis in
yes.
Rickenthorn. You guys can go to Subway.
Subway. Let's go to Sub.
Sub.
Yeah, but we
Subway.
can't call it Italian bread. We had to like rename it, so it's like we got like Feldorn bread or something.
Ooh, Feldorn
Yeah,
bread.
you got Feldorn bread, you
Fancy.
got Herb's
Virality
Feldorn
like
bread.
that.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
Yep.
yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Taste of home.
Yeah, Trenwell rye and things like that. So you know.
Oh my
I like
God.
that. Those little things are what gives the actual world, like, makes it breathe. You know, like
Yeah.
having something literally like Feldorn bread. It literally makes it feel more real.
See, the
like
thing
that.
is, it's not really something I would have thought about until, you know, when you get experience with players, just one session, a player might just be like, my character's gonna go get a sandwich, like, and suddenly it's like, there's no module for this in the official
Yeah.
game.
You just have to figure it out.
But you don't want to say like, no, you can't find a sandwich, because that sounds like a hilarious scene to roleplay as well. Like, yeah, what bread would there be? So you kind of
Got
like.
any sandwiches? What's a sandwich?
So yeah, like overall, there's that. Oh, one of the things that surprised me though actually came up in a backstory, which was Aeros's backstory. I wasn't prepared for. You know, I spend so much time building the political system and how it's like a semi-democratic democratic system, and you know, I built this big creationism theory of the world and how it was created and all these pantheons and everything, and then I thought I was done. Like, I thought it was like gonna be enough for me to operate, and then like the first paragraph, Eros goes to a healers guild, and I'm like, guilds, that would be a good thing to put in my city.
Oh, maybe.
And then it kind of made me think, like, yeah, I didn't think of like healthcare. Where do the non-magic users get their injuries treated and shit? I'm like,
Because that is a huge part of his backstory.
It's a huge thing, and I was just kind of like, yeah, there would have to be a guild for healing in cities. Like, that would just have to be, and in the towns, who would do it? Like, and so it's just like, I just had to like, all right, you know what? Sure, this is what they are. This is the districts that they're
That's
in.
mad.
Cities.
I thought like, oh, he's gonna have guilds lined up and everything's gonna.
I did everything except for like, what would the general population like turn to get shit done? Like, if, you know, old mate bookstore keeper. Like, if he needs a potion, does he go to the general alchemist? Because that's what I would have said. But if he broke his leg, he doesn't go to the bandage shop. So like, where would he, like, where would he get treatment? I didn't think of that section of it until I read your backstory, and I'm like, huh. Yeah, I might have to rework some of these districts in these cities. And it was good, like, because as soon as I read it, I'm like, okay, yep, sweet, there is a healers guild where you're from. It's done.
Cool.
It's just kind of like, you helped me build it. So, yeah,
I'm glad.
I get thrown off by backstories a bit, just a couple of times. Eros did forget a detail in something that happened with him, and then made up new information that conflicted with his backstory at one point, and I was just there biting my tongue.
no.
So I was just kind of like, it was when you found, when the Raven entered the church, what you told Azariah about the bird was different to what you wrote in your backstory. So it was kind of like, am I gonna say that it's wrong, or is he
I wish we had
like
the VOD.
misremembering kind of deal?
Over.
Fuck. Because like I have like this idea in my head right now while we're speaking, and I'm pretty sure it's the same as what I wrote down. But I've got it open right now because I just like had a look at it, and I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that kind of follows, but I can't remember what I told Azariah now. That's the issue, because there's no VOD.
Well, I might.
So I can't go back.
I'll probably talk to you privately about it just to clarify.
Yeah.
To
I think that's probably the
see
best
whether
shout.
or not, because I actually wrote it as a line of dialogue. If you said the right words to the bird in the last session, Avalor, or I think it was Avalor.
Mm-hmm. Avalor is what I've got down. Avalor.
Avora.
Alvora.
There we go. God, it was like,
Horrible.
I'm trying to remember it. I'm
Avora,
like, as soon as I said Avalar, I was like, no, that's Spyro 2.
Yeah.
I was like, no, that's not it. Yeah, like there was a line of dialogue. If you said something, it would have triggered me like clarifying that detail, like in game and to
Oh, I
work.
see.
But you never asked the question or said the dialogue to make it work. So it's just kind of like,
Yeah.
all right, well, I'll
You
leave
just
it
have
there.
to kind of like go past it. Or maybe there's something that like may have to be retconned then if I have just like forgotten a piece of like the background or yeah. I mean, was that the first time we ever saw the Raven in the church?
No.
Was that the first time we'd ever encountered
Oh,
it? Or was it?
when it entered the church, yes, that was the
Yeah.
first time you saw it outside of a vision.
So I'm thinking I was probably just thrown off by that happening and just like
yeah.
remembered something.
Wow.
Because I'm fairly certain I'm on it now, but at the time maybe I just fucked up and was just like, oh my god, this is happening. I've got to be in the character in the moment.
There was also
get this
like
right.
you didn't realize Azaria could cast Speak with Animals, so it's kind of like you just were like, what do I do? You're just sitting there. You're bowing at me. You're
Hello?
flying to the statue. You're flying
Hi?
to me. What's the next
up?
thing? Like,
Yeah.
leave me some more
Yeah.
breadcrumbs. Oh, a feather? Thank you. Like,
Sup? I'll take
Yeah,
that.
to be-
Yoink.
To be fair, I completely forgot as at the time.
it was very funny because I was actually like, I made the bird fly in
Mm.
there thinking that, okay, Leah will cast Speak with Animals and you can actually probably have a little conversation through your god here.
Conversation that we had the previous session. That's what.
Yeah.
Is that when you intended for it to happen initially?
Was the exact same dialogue that was gonna be in the House of Crean that you were in, and I just did a good old copy and paste.
Nice.
So yeah, it was just kind of like, okay, they're not gonna do it. So the bird bows for a while and then flies away.
He's like, well, cool. You don't want to talk? That's fine. I'm out.
just letting you know I'm there, kind of deal. Like,
Yeah.
Left a calling card.
but yeah, overall, guys, this has definitely been my favorite D&D experience that I've had. The consistency of the group is something I've wanted for a very long time.
Same.
There's been plenty of times with my previous groups that I'm like, let's get on a weekly schedule, and straight away it's like shut down. Like, no, I'm not free this day. I'm not free this day. So it's kind of like, all right, well, I guess we'll play again in 6 months. Like,
Yep.
Yeah.
and so to have a group consistently come on is just kind of like changed everything, because now it's like, oh, everyone's getting invested not only in their characters or the direct sessions operating like a one-shot. There is a lot of focus on the world building, which is making me constantly refresh what I know about this place I've created. So it's fun for me. It's more fun like off stream. I'm getting to, build these guilds and work on gods that work into backstories and everything. Like the moon gods weren't a thing until Mashi and I started talking about her backstory, and then I was like, you know what?
Yay.
Here's some moon gods for you, kind of deal. Like,
Oh wait.
Moon gods are here now.
One thing about the moon gods,
yeah.
because it's changed a few times. Is it Crescent or Cranen or what?
Yeah.
Because it's been
here's the-
changing,
here's
and
the
I'm getting
thing.
so
Here's the thing.
confused.
I looked at one note and I said one thing, and then I looked at another and I said the other
And you
thing, and now I can't remember which one.
I
Which
know.
one's the right one?
So like at first it was like
Love that.
Cranan, I think, and then it
It's
became
it
Crescent,
was-
and
it
now
was-
it's like
Yeah, it was meant to be like Crescent or Krenin, like it was meant to be the same
yeah,
word,
Cranen,
but the middle.
Crescent.
I don't remember if it was the middle syllable got like auto corrected to something, and I went back and I'm like, oh, they've changed one character, and I fixed one letter in a word, but not realizing it changed the whole thing. And so now I have two different documents about the gods.
Confused me
And
so
it's-
much because I'm like Crescent, Cranen. Like at first it was Crescent, now it's Cranen, but then it's Crescent again.
It's on the wiki, so I'll check the wiki, and whatever
Okay.
one's on the wiki is the official ones.
Okay, so I might need to change all of my notes.
The wiki isn't ready yet, is it?
No, it's not
No.
ready.
Cool.
I'm
That would
about,
be so useful. when
I'm halfway through writing about the second era at the moment. So,
Cool.
which is the formation of the Bavarian Empire under Lady Bavay. So, the domination of Lady Bavay is the section I'm writing at the moment. So, where she was like, "Yo, this is all mine.
Mine now.
This is my
No.
is for me.
For me? Triathlon for me? But
Oh
you
my
know, like I had
God.
to write like from the creationism, and I've essentially, there's a timeline that exists as well, so you can click on a timeline, it'll open up
Ooh.
you know, like 50,000 years ago, like these two gods had beef kind of deal. Like there's plenty of that kind of shit, and then it goes down to the different eras that we're going through. I can't remember if I set this game in the 3rd or 4th era, but yeah, the Empire's the 2nd era. And yeah, so I had to write, you know, who did she take over? Was it barren land? Because there was plenty of like god relics and ruins and shit from the war that just happened. So like there needs to be something there. So I had to like fill in all that kind of detail, and it'll go. And also the other thing is like there's some information that, you know, I want to leave to in-game and not in the wiki. So I don't necessarily want it to be you guys read about it before you experience it in the game. So it's more, I'm trying to focus on the general world shit. And in fact, it would be a pretty cool one-shot to go back to some of these previous eras, just so like you could hear about some ancient battle, and then that ancient battle happened on like a stream with other players.
That'd
or
be
something
so
like
cool.
that, you
Next
know, like,
one shot
that'd be
coming
awesome.
up. Battle 4,000 years ago.
Yeah,
well, yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Is I'll have these different
that is a
sessions
cool idea.
be something. So, and the mineral smile will be there, and Name watches it and is like, "How did I get here?" You know, and yeah, this is the most invested I've been because it's the most fun to play, and it's because of you guys that I get to do it. So, very, very thankful for this group, and hopefully we can keep it going. Though not next week, apparently. So,
Next week.
let me see. My overlay's broken while I look at it. So we're gonna try for
Countdown.
July 3rd, but
Yes.
it seems so far away. It's June
might-
19th.
It does seem so far away.
I have no idea where I'll be.
Yeah, where will
I
you
need
be?
to check my thing.
I
I'm
could-
pretty sure I'm 3.
Depend. I'll be out of quarantine, but I won't be back in my hometown yet. I could.
Mhm.
If you're in the next room, then I'll be like, "Yo, it's D&D time."
Okay.
No.
Oh my,
Oh,
I honestly, I could very well be at one of your houses.
Yeah, probably.
Oh,
You know who's
Face
in the
reveal?
next
Your
room.
shit's already
face
here. so
reveal.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
true. My bed's in your house.
your
so-
bed
Yeah,
is
it's
in
true.
like one of my
Oh my
rooms.
God.
When he moved to Japan, he's like, "I don't have anywhere to keep this," and I'm like, "I've got a spare bedroom and nothing in it, so let's just put it in there."
Put your
in
bed
there.
in there. Fuck it.
It's been there ever since.
Mhm.
Works for me.
Cool. All right. Well, I'll wrap this. I'll wrap this little.
Wait, I've got a question for you
Oh
guys.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Just one to wrap it up, because a lot of us have never played D&D before, and some of us are still new. So I was keen to get your thoughts in terms of like what's something cool or something you didn't expect now that you played D&D. Now that there were 12
Oh
sessions.
yeah, that's a good question.
Great
for everyone
question.
else, Yeah.
I can start. So for me, initially when I started playing D&D, I was just more interested in like how D&D works in terms of mechanics and combat. But now that I've done that through past campaigns, I've more explored more role-playing things, and that's a lot more exciting to me.
Yeah.
Just like doing random things and seeing how far I can push things. Like for example, just finding gold or platinum in a couch, just like trying random stuff.
That was so good.
You know what?
Yeah.
That's back on my surprise list. I didn't think someone would check a couch for coins in an ancient catacomb.
Yeah.
which
But-
is
Or
which is
yeah.
why I rewarded it. Was like, that is hilarious. Sure, have a platinum.
Yeah,
But-
so just trying things like that, or just even just like conversing with just random people. Like the time that we talked to the bartender, that was like the guard, that's just like handing out drinks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's been pretty cool and
Yeah.
awesome.
I've had the exact same experience. Like when I started playing D&D, combat was the fun thing, and the more I've played it, I feel like the more that like the combat is like, yeah, it's fun, but the role play is what I'm here for. Like that is much more fulfilling.
Yeah.
Although I don't think I can do like 100% roleplay. I need some combat to shake things up in there.
For sure.
Everyone does. You need a
Yeah.
break. You need to think for yourself as a player at some
Yeah.
point.
Need to think
Exactly.
drunk.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it just feels like playing a sort of visual novel / turn-based RPG, really. Like I always think in my head, it reminds me a lot of Fire Emblem. It does. Like the whole like you're doing an RP, then you're doing like a gaming section.
Yeah.
They're very similar. I like it though. I like it a lot. I don't know. Like I said, this is my first proper campaign. Really, the last few were just like we never got anywhere. So for me, the best thing about this was always going to be the role play, because I'm like a fucking theater kid. I fucking love acting out and doing like characters and shit. So this, yeah, that's definitely my favorite part. Combat's fun as well because I love video games and I like that style. But yeah, the role play is the best part to me.
Yeah.
Probably for me, it's just like the different DMs, I guess, because like my last DM was very strict, and like Farkle's is less strict. Like he lets me like change things and do things that I like couldn't do before, like disguise myself using like things and like other stuff, and like he goes along with like crazy things we try and do, like when we tried to ride the bear's back, when I dangle off a statue, when I try and draw as a rat. Like he lets me do a lot more like more fun things, and it's just really fun.
Maybe it's because we're like, I don't know, maybe like the fact that we're streaming it as well makes it a bit more exciting. Like knowing that we're kind of broadcasting our sessions to an audience kind of makes it feel more theatrical, so we can do more crazy shit. I don't know.
Like put on a performance type
You've got like trying to do that.
I feel like I'm sort of doing that sometimes when I'm speaking as Aeros. Like I want to
trying to make it entertaining for someone to watch, not just entertaining for yourself.
Exactly,
I mean, hey,
I'm not sure, but like
Unknowingly,
speaking as a non-streamer, I kind of just forget that it's being streamed.
same.
Like, and it's just pure role play for me. But I
just
get
feels
that
like it's
from a
happening.
streaming perspective, that's probably not 100% the same.
That hasn't been the case for me, mostly because I never get to look at OBS. I've got fucking character sheets and Roll20 and docs open. Like it's just like OBS is way in the back. I don't see chat, and then occasionally I look at it and I'm like, oh, someone said hi like 40 minutes ago. I'm like,
wow.
Hi to you, person.
Yeah, kind of deal. So occasionally, like, I'll pop a wave if I manage to catch someone, but like I forget that it's streaming. I would be DMing the same way if you guys were in front of me, and I think V and Troy could attest to that, because I don't think my DMing style has really changed. I think
really
it's just,
hasn't.
it's more like my experience in dealing with player management has, but everything else about it is.
I think
it's the same
think
way.
your world building has come a long way.
As opposed to Riven, which was a fucking kingdom that was like surrounded by mountains you couldn't leave. So everyone's backstory was in there.
I love that. It's like a fucking
legit. And I was a druid, so my first thing was going to be fly over those mountains. It was the first thing I was going to do when I could fly.
But
level 8.
my
get
camera
to
keeps
level
going
8.
out of focus. My experience with that really came from I had never seen or played high character before, so I didn't actually know what the limits of the game were. And then it was just like, oh, you can just fuck off to another plane of existence if you want. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, so they can literally do anything. A ring of mountains ain't stopping anybody. Okay.
The highest I've got to is level 4, so
it still could have been like a really cool. It was a very cool low-level setting. I feel like.
Yeah.
Riven. And it actually could have worked very well, like transferring from there to a higher level setting. But it would have taken a lot more world building to do that.
Yeah, and at that point, I just started again, and then that was Vynreth. So
Yeah.
And I was gonna say from Riven to Vynreth, there's a lot more complexity there. There's a lot more nuances there, and by just having more elements, it makes it more real and more like interactable
for sure.
Yeah.
Like I can't say it based on previous campaigns, but I agree, it feels so real.
The first thing I wrote in the world building was the Molson trading channel. It wasn't even the Empire. It wasn't anything on Triathlon. It was there was 2 continents, and there was a trading route between them. Who would control it? And then that's when it was starting. Like, okay, so there's got to be some sort of political tension. Why does one get to control it and not the other, kind of deal? So it was that's what started it. And then it was like, all right, well, I've got these 2 countries now. What makes them different? Why wouldn't these guys just be like, you guys do the same thing that we do, so let's just do the same thing together? Like, well, yeah, sure, you have a monarch, so do we. Like, like it couldn't be the exact same, which is why I went with the, mobster. It's Molson's very much inspired by like Jabba the Hutt, kind of like we own Tatooine kind of deal. Like that's where Molson's inspiration came from, because that was completely outside of like the Star Wars empires that were in there. So
the Sopranos of Vynreth.
So I needed to come up with that, and then
Sopranos.
and then after that it was like, all right, so what do they believe in? And then that's when I started working on what's the creation theory for it, because I started reading and watching, world building tutorials and just listening to podcasts specifically about world building. And the first thing that you do when you have like any kind of primitive race is, what do they believe in? Because they don't understand how the world works. So what do they think happened? Like, how big do they think the planet is, kind of deal. So that's when I was like, all right, so the land was created by Titans punching the rocks, and then the land popped out of the ocean, and then they were like, well, I don't know what this is. I'm leaving, and they all left. and then the Kreen came in. We're like, fuck yeah, they put all these rocks up for us. I'm gonna turn it into mountain ranges and plains. So yeah. A lot more than just it is a kingdom inside of a ring of mountains, which is all the previous one was, and no one can leave, and the people who do never come back. That was the story of Riven. And then you found a man that managed to come back, so it was like, how did he do it? And that was going to be the whole story, was trying to figure out what he was going to do and where you really were. It was really just the plot of Maze Runner, but as a D&D campaign. It was like, you get out and you're like, whoa, there's a whole nother world out here.
Check it out. Hey.
I think it's interesting coming at this as someone who has never ever played D&D before, because I feel like for me there's always been a preconceived like notion of D&D and what that means, and I've always kind of never been interested in it at all, because it's always seemed like something too complicated and like beyond my capabilities. And I think that comes from seeing it from the combat elements and all the moving parts to do with that. But getting into it has just been like all the role playing elements and all the world and everything has just been so, I don't know, it's genuinely mesmerizing, and just the complexity of it, but also just the fact that you could easily become invested and involved in it as well, even as a new player. And I think to be fair, and I'm singing your praises, because I think a lot of it is to do with our DM, obviously, because when we started, obviously we were shown how to create characters and shown how to do everything, and then just, even though we're new and there's elements we don't understand, we're still brought into it, and there's no judgment, and
Yeah.
it's just been it's such a good environment to just build a character, but also just build yourself as a person as well. So it's just all around been great for me. And even though I have no reference to how other D&D games or campaigns have worked, I'm just still mesmerized by everything that happens.
I think you have a lot of 5th edition to thank for this as well.
Yeah.
Previous editions were
Absolutely.
much more complicated.
Yeah.
And that's where I think a lot of the tropes that you're referring to kind of spawned out of. Like, I think in 3.5, you had to, if you rolled a natural 20, you had to roll to confirm it as well.
You had to roll a
Yes,
second natural 20.
what?
I heard about that.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, so it was stuff like that, whereas 5th edition is
And
just
there's
kind of
so
like,
many modifiers.
yeah,
It's
like it was
insane.
ridiculous. And 3.5 was a good one. Everyone loved it, but played it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just don't mention 4.
But yeah,
It's-
fourth edition is the one, but everyone's like, nah, they didn't know. Moving swiftly
exist.
along.
D&D is
What was
like
the worst thing
Windows,
about 4th
where
edition?
like the second edition, like every second edition is good.
Yeah.
It's the same as Windows.
The,
Oh, okay.
the 4th edition is definitely the Windows Vista of
The Vista, I was gonna say, it's the fucking
It's
Vista.
exactly
Leave
that.
this stuff.
We're going to die!
Classic.
I'm pretty sure there was only 4 classes in 4th edition.
Really?
Yeah, it was like, and it wasn't like cleric and wizard
you're
and stuff.
back.
It was like magic user, fighter, support, and range.
Oh, they
like,
tried to,
very
like-
basic. Yeah.
They did like a whole, like what Elder Scrolls has done over the years. They've really just like narrowed down all the classes
and
into
they-
like
Yeah.
more subsets.
I kind of
Ugh.
I kind of forget because I never ended up getting into an actual game, but I've read some of the modules and I've listened to people's stories of it, and it was like, that doesn't sound fun. It doesn't sound fun at all.
God.
3.5
Yeah.
sounds fun, but it is much more complicated. Whereas 5th edition is, you want to try something, roll a d20, and that's the game. You don't need to know anything because the DM will be like, roll this check, and it's on the first page, but you're looking at like what number to add to it, and that's the whole game.
Which is just so much better. That's just so much better.
It just
like,
works.
I prefer that anyway.
So it
We
works.
also do have the benefit of online shit like Roll20 and like D&D Beyond and stuff to do
Oh
it.
man,
Mm.
I
So
would
true.
so much rather not use Roll20 and just draw a map on it with a whiteboard marker for you guys.
No, yeah, I do agree for that, but I do like Roll20.
Uh,
I mean D&D
I like
Beyond.
Roll20.
I mean D&D Beyond.
D&D Beyond for sure. Like as soon as I
Yeah.
started using it, which was as soon as Critical Role started using it, I was like, "What is this?" And then I played it. I'm like, "Oh, this is
It's
so
so
much
helpful.
better." This is-
Yeah. So good.
Like it helps me so much just because like it adds all the modifiers, so I don't because I always get confused about how to work out the attack bonus, not like the damage bonus, the attack one. I always
Yeah.
get confused and forget what that is, and it just does it for me, and it's so much nicer.
Yeah,
It's
it's
good.
It's
It's really
good.
good.
We do have
I
we
think
do have D&D Beyond to help
Yeah.
us out a bit, but
As I say, sometimes just making things more simple makes it more easy to access and kind of understand the mechanics on it.
Yeah.
So
fifth
quite handy to
fifth
have.
edition brought it into like
yeah,
mainstream pop
Yeah.
culture, I think. Whereas I feel like before
Yeah.
that, like it was always a big game, like it was a very successful game for a long time, but
Yeah.
at least what I've seen of people who started playing 5th edition as soon as it came out, you know, that's why things like Critical Role were able to take off so easy, is because people were like, what is this game that they're playing? Oh, it's this easy to play. Cool. And then they
Yeah.
went down to their comic book store and started joining in with Adventure League, and it's just a matter of you sit down with a character sheet and just do what the DM kind of tells you. So, like, it's easy to play. But doesn't make it an easy game. There's still going to be difficult encounters, and there's still going to be puzzles and
Yep.
shit. So it's just kind of
True.
like mechanically, it's just much simpler. And
Yeah.
obviously spells exist, and it's like, okay, now everything's complicated. All right, well, sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
everything's
cool, we
complicated
brought
again.
magic into this, and now fuck the system. just
spells.
get rid of it all. Yeah, no, it's been great. I've had a blast the last 4 months, and
Yeah.
hopefully
Wait,
we can
has it
keep
been
doing
that
it
long?
a lot longer. Yeah, we started in February.
I'm trying to write down all the dates, but I can't find like all of the dates.
I can tell you D&D Beyond as the Stream Edition campaign started on New Year's Day. That's when I started preparing on New Year's Day, so we would have been talking about it around December, I think.
Yeah.
And
technically,
Sounds about right.
sorry, go ahead.
and January, I think, is when we started. You know, we're gonna do a session 0. We're gonna talk. We're gonna make characters. I'm gonna teach you how to do it because you've never done it before. Jump in, and then I think it was mid-February that we started. So yeah, it's been 4 months.
If we want the exact dates, we can just use the Discord
It's true.
because of the announcements.
Oh yeah.
We could.
Thanks.
Good shout.
Control F in announcements and then just type in Dungeons and Dragons.
It's been 5 minutes, but Cinder put in. I like how everyone cares about the game. No anger, no one killing the team because they rolled a 1 out of a rage fit.
Imagine that.
Yeah,
Yes,
well,
imagine
that goes
that.
wild.
yeah,
crazy.
that's kind of like if you ever read RPG horror stories and stuff.
Yes.
People get real mad about
So
It's
fudge
so
rolls
funny.
and stuff, and it's kind of like I get it because as a player, especially when you get invested in your character and they die, like they get killed off, that story ends and there's nothing beyond that. That story is over, which is a very good recreation of real life, to be honest. It's just if someone dies, like you'd never get to know what they think the next day. And and so that's a thing in D&D, and so when people get really attached to it, it's devastating, and for some people it goes into like a full rage, but unfortunately they go with it with everything that goes against them. So not just like their character dying, it's my character should be able to succeed, and it's like, yeah, but you rolled bad, so the DM's going to create a scenario in which they don't. Like maybe it does make sense for your character's backstory for them to be good at it, but maybe 1 doesn't mean that they failed at it. Maybe a 1 is someone's walked in and seen you do it and has prevented you from doing it, kind of thing. So
it irritates me because the assumption is because of the backstory of a character that they're just fucking invulnerable or something. Like, and one of my favorite examples of this is the Witcher book series, actually. Has a very good scenario with Geralt. Because, you know, I mean, if you're familiar with the Witcher series, Geralt is made out to be this fucking unstoppable, like, killing machine, right? Like, he fights monsters and skilled humans all the time. And this is technically spoilery for the books. I don't know if you guys want to read them, so I won't go into it if you don't want me to. But the example is basically the end of the books. That take place before the games, actually. I don't know if you guys want to know, but a character dies.
Keep it broad in case there's people who
I'll keep it broad.
watch it, kind of deal. Like maybe people will watch it in hindsight, want to read it.
Yeah, of course. There's a character who dies in a very like offhand way that you wouldn't expect. It's like, what the fuck? Like they're this killing, like whatever. How does that happen?
Yeah.
And it's just very like out there, and like you're irritated, but you're also just like things like that happen all the time in real life.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it can happen any time, and I think D&D does a good way of emulating that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter how prepared you are.
Yeah, it's definitely been like such a good thing to have a group. It's just like, oh, you got a 1, that's hilarious, rather than
Yeah.
you got a 1. What the fuck, man?
I was just about to say, like, I think a large part of the enjoyment of the game for at least myself, I can't speak for everyone, is the group that we're doing with it with.
Yes.
Like, everyone sort of vibes well and like just down to have fun, and like the failures are part of the game, and that no one's like, oh my god, you fucking rolled a natural 1, fuck off, kind of thing.
I'm expecting if anyone dies in this campaign, like the whole fucking party is gonna get teary-eyed kind of story, because it's just gonna be this whole like.
I thought you were saying a different sentence. I thought you were gonna say, I'm expecting if anyone dies in this game, it will be Day.
Well, I mean that's also true, but
Look,
That's
days
what I thought
come
you were gonna
really
say.
days come
Seven.
really close, and if you weren't
I
a bear
know.
in that Banshee fight, you would have.
I
Oh
know.
my
That's
God.
why I became a
Yeah.
and
bear.
actually Name's come really close one time as well.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
we were both
Yeah.
down
Came
that
within
first
one
time.
input.
time.
It
Um,
was.
It was the first time when we had the bugbear attack in the goblin cave.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
he got downed,
Yeah.
and
'Cause
if he'd had like one bit more, he'd be dead.
He ran forward to save
Yeah.
Day and had 16
Yeah.
health. No, he had like 4 hit points, and the
Oh fuck.
like
yeah.
plus his max was 16. So if he got hit for 16, he was insta dead, and he got
And
hit for
did, like,
15.
15.
And that's like the first fucking session. Like.
Yeah.
session
Yeah.
2. We
Two.
did
Oh,
the
that was
summary
session
before. That
two.
was
Two.
session 2.
Early, very early.
But yeah.
Close enough to the first. But that was scary time.
And
I
that
would
was
have been
another
so
reason.
sad.
That was another reason why I was like, "Fuck level 1 off. I need you guys
Yeah.
to have some health so we
Right.
can have fun in this game."
And hey, I still don't have health. It's great.
But
You
you
just
can
had
turn
such
into a
terrible
bear,
rolls.
so it works.
Yeah, you can turn to wild
Yeah.
shape. You'll be fine.
And like,
Yeah, I can turn into a bear until I use both of my wild shapes.
Troy pointed out after the Banshee encounter, just like, I'm surprised he didn't do this other ability that they have, since he's had their stat sheet as a DM before, he's familiar with them. And I was like,
Oh.
I was going to, but I thought that, you know, the Banshee would have seen Day as an easy target because it's right in its face and it's big,
Yeah.
hard
Yeah.
to miss kind of deal.
The
I'm a
bear.
bear.
And so went for it, and
Oh, look.
it was the right call because it did 31
I
damage
was
that
so
roll.
happy.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
so happy when my plan worked.
That was definitely the
Jeez.
deadliest encounter I've thrown at you
Mhm.
guys. That was
Yeah.
Until the one
Yeah.
next week, or
Fuck.
So
Please.
the week
far.
after. Dun, dun, dun,
maybe,
maybe.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't
so
know.
far. That
the
was the
one next
closest to
time, and
death.
I'm already low.
Well, that was actually closest to the campaign ending kind of
Yeah.
kind of
Mhm.
fight.
It could have been
Oh,
TBK.
That was potential TPK territory.
Yeah.
That was a rough encounter.
It was
TPK?
scary.
Total party kill.
Party. Yeah.
Shit.
But,
it got real fucking close. That whale. did well.
surviving was the biggest like
Yeah.
MVP
Clarence
Yeah.
moment.
dying. Same.
Yeah,
Fuck.
that channel
Because he's got-
divinity.
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
That's so
that
scary.
saved the party really.
Literally.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a good one. We've had a few like close calls, but that one was like,
That was the
especially
closest.
if you didn't target the wisp, that was the
Yeah.
other like clutch
Right.
thing
Oh,
Because
yeah,
about
it could
it.
have come and killed
Holy
us
sh-
instantly.
Because if you're unconscious and you fail your like, it essentially forces a death saving throw, but you get one chance at it.
I'd fail.
Like yeah, you probably would. So that was a
My luck
like,
with first
the
base
Banshee-
isn't good.
Banshee knocks out the party and the wisp finishes them off kind of deal. Like that was
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
2-move kind
Yeah.
of fight.
And then we had V and Azariah just going, "Ban, you're
yeah,
dead."
just like, nah, fuck the wisp.
Screw the wisp.
Meanwhile, Ienda, the Eternal Flame, just flying away, like
Yeah.
I'm out.
Good thing he wasn't in the whale
which
as well.
was so close to
Yeah.
being in the whale, which nearly killed it. It would have
Oh
died.
god.
Yep.
So it was a good
That's
thing
deep as well.
Azariah rolled a higher initiative than the
Yeah.
Banshee.
Yeah.
That saved the
Aw.
dragon's life. But oh man, yeah, that was still
Yeah.
that's probably my favorite fight. My least favorite fight would be the Blights, just because it was kind of like, that was more a random encounter. It wasn't really easy to tie in with the story. It was, you guys were walking to Jorvin and Styx attacked you.
Oh yeah, that's right.
No, I like the blight though because we tied it to Branchy. It was Branchy's
Yeah.
revenge. I like that aspect of that fight. That's what I mean. Even if it was lacking in an overall like tying it to, we made a sort of like joke out of it that became like funny, and you know, we made something out of it, even though it didn't have any larger impact on the story. And
Yeah.
Branchy's parents are like, "How dare you throw away our child?
And
We're gonna fuck you up."
I said it last session with just talking about how D&D, like with the failures and how this has just been an immersive experience for everyone. Only in these kind of games does a party fail to buy arrows at closing time
Oh my god.
and then about an
Try and
hour of
bribe.
gameplay later enter an ancient catacomb to one of the creation gods and get attacked by a shadow demon. Like,
Yeah.
that spectrum there where you went from arrows, drinking game, governor of the city, we're fighting a demon. It's like
Yeah.
Oh no.
that's not a normal day in any time periods.
I totally can't wait to go fight the demon with 12 health because I got hit by a feckin' stone door.
You did get hit by a stone.
Yeah.
But that was the other thing. I would have laughed so much if Kaya put the mage hand down on the tile and just closed the door before you could walk in. That would have
Oh
just.
god.
I would have laughed so much because
I
what
was
would
crying.
you do?
I was stressing so much about the hand. I was like, please lift it up as I try and hold it open.
It was so funny because I was playing in my head like, what would that scenario be if they closed the door before they walked in?
Like turns around and
Eros just
bye.
walks back and been like,
Oh.
we deemed it too evil, so we've sealed it off forever.
Yep.
Nice.
But he wouldn't
about
wouldn't
right.
feel fulfilled from his fucking purpose for going there. So it would have just been this.
It would be an empty thing. Be like, okay, well,
Oh well.
I guess we closed it. That's cool, I guess.
I imagine like you would have gone and hired some fucking dwarf stone cutters from the quarry in town to like come down and get it out. But unfortunately, you're
Open
on the
this
other
up.
side of the door now, so you can't just hire
Yeah.
someone to drill it open for you. But
Help, please.
all right, well, I'm looking forward
Oh.
to next week, not next week, but next session, where you guys will be taking on this shadow demon that came out of the
Yay.
cracked statue. We'll see if it's everything that you're fearing it's going to be.
Yeah.
And
Right.
it should be good.
Can't wait to
And
die.
how do we escape?
Exciting.
How do you get out of the catacomb?
Dun, dun, dun.
And definitely not a scenario that you've already brought up in this session, but
Hey.
I think I just don't want to talk about it because I'm like, I have no idea what to do.
It's been fun though, like just talking about D&D and the campaigns.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, it's
This
not,
is probably like, this has been really good to kind of like reframe everything, I think.
Yeah.
Kind
And
of
the
reflected
best
on all
part
that.
about it is it's called the TWAT podcast.
That's Twats Bobcat.
Twats podcast. I think this will probably be the longest one because ideally I wouldn't want to do 11 sessions of this each time, and I imagine like we're talking about just D&D in general, how fun 5th edition is and everything. I feel like if we do another one of these, it's just going to be like, what's your reaction to the last 5 sessions kind of deal.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
because I do want to do it
What's
again
your
because
reaction? I died.
these refreshes are fun, and
Yeah.
it's nice to talk about with the whole group rather than on stream to chat and just talking about it and not really getting the other person's perspective of it, other than like maybe they'll chat you and you got to kind of catch it, because that's kind of how I've been doing it for 4 months. So it's like, oh man, how good was last night's session? And there's no response. I just wait for someone to say something, and I'm like, yeah, Poe enjoyed it.
And I think maybe going forward we could probably do it every 5, because I just realized like 12 sessions in, I just don't remember like too well the first like 5 in itself. Like a lot of the details get lost.
Yeah.
far.
We were
So,
talking about that when we were trying to think about memorable moments. We were like, shit, I can only like, because the newer stuff is just fresher in my head, so I remember it a lot easier.
Yeah,
Especially
that's how
because you
memory
spent
works.
a long time in Azure, and like some of the summary that I wrote, like I just noticed like there's multiple paragraphs for some of them, and the other ones were like you walked into the building and you went into the shrine, and like that was a whole session, And it was kind of like,
Yeah.
like the Moonweaver Grove. You went to a party and you walked into a garden. That was the story. Like that was that whole session. It was just 4 hours of it. So,
Best garden there is.
so yeah,
4 hours.
we'll probably do the next one at 15, and we'll do it for 4, and then after that, probably try and do it every 5. If this party's still going, hopefully everyone's still invested. And
Who knows where we'll end up?
and if not, I'll replace you.
overlay at 20.
Okay,
maybe
Jeez,
not.
it hurts. The pain.
Interface to lock up because
Yeah.
it's just like I'll replace you. Interface locks up. Oh
yeah,
no.
yeah, like a demon took over as soon as I said it.
Quick, if only we could redeem fucking Horrorcan.
At the exact moment he says, I can
Yeah.
replace you, it's just like...
Oh,
I
that
should
would
have
have
turned
been
it on.
Didn't
Yeah.
think about it.
No,
until
it's
too
been
late.
good. We'll do another at session 15. Let's see if you're even in Reconthorn at that point. We'll
Yeah, who
Hey.
knows?
there we go. But thanks for
Oddly enough,
joining
I
me,
hope
everybody. And good night
Thanks.
stream. I'm not gonna raid. I'm just gonna close it off. So.
Yeah.
And
I'm
I
gonna
will
close
be
that.
re-uploading this to YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube, hi and
Oh,
good night.
cool! Hi,
So-
YouTube.
Hello,
Yeah.
goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bye.
YouTube.
Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.